Hello. Please let us know how our levels are. I need levels. They sound good to me. But I always sound good to me. I don't. I suck. I know it. Probably should go to the old multi-stream here. Last time we didn't do that. We're missing out. Gotta get that consolidated chat. That's why you have it.
It's nobody chatting.
No, it's nothing. Not yet. I mean, but there's nothing now, but like in an hour, twice as much.
Okay.
Yeah. Good evening. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right.
How's your alcoholic energy drink?
I haven't even started it yet. I don't know. It's a great question. It's the Beast. And not like Milwaukee's Best or whatever that is. Everything okay with the water?
Yeah.
It's a little funky looking? You look concerned.
No, it looked like there was something on the bottle when I took the cap off.
I see. Mike sounds good. Jay hasn't spoke yet. Say something.
Something.
Say Mike rules.
No.
Thanks for nothing. Hey, Bobby. How you doing, buddy? Gonna have my the Beast Unleashed. It's got a nice tactile feel to the can. That's what that guy's eye looked like at the gas station, remember? You didn't see it, but it looked like this.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
Well, you should have looked up because that shit was crazy. You want to try it?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Our original crew has been...
I could turn up a tad, he said.
Jay could turn up a tad. All right. Try that.
What?
Is that better?
Yep.
Talk.
What do you want me to talk about? I'm saving my talking for the show. I don't want to damage my vocals.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You sound like you gargle razor blades.
That's why I sound like this. Tough.
These are the sweet velvety pipes of Jerry Vole.
I sound like Axel. Anyway, we're already losing viewers.
Man, we're down to 2.
Yeah, it's not good.
No?
I don't like it.
Really?
It's all right. I don't like it.
What does it taste like?
You gotta try it.
I don't want to try it.
I can't describe the taste to you.
You can. It tastes like shit. It tastes like lemon flavored shit. It tastes like citrus flavored shit. It tastes like orange flavored shit.
I don't know.
It tastes like raspberry flavored shit.
There's no... I don't have a comparative. Smell it. At least smell it.
Oh, God.
And you'll see what I mean. It tastes like it smells. Anyway, yeah, this is really riveting stuff. You see what I mean? It's not good. Give me a different one. I'll get it.
It smells like...
It's bad.
It smells like really bad cleaner.
It tastes like it too.
Yum. Bro.
Okay. That shit's terrible.
Is John on yet?
Who's John?
Retro game enthusiast. Mr. John Young.
That Peach Perfect kind.
What?
They have the same Peach Perfect kind.
No, that's Cosmic Peach. The non-alcoholic version is Cosmic Peach.
Oh, well.
I would say that would be Peach Perfect. What is that? That's Peach Perfect?
Yeah, but I don't think it is. I think you're right.
I think they're going to lie to you.
All right. Try and keep this on the rails tonight. Got a lot to talk about. No. Try this. I'm just giving people a chance to show up, you know. We sprung it on everybody.
Nobody's showing up.
Didn't really tell everybody. I gotta fire my marketing guy. I think I'm gonna hire a new marketing guy. You got any openings?
As a matter of fact, I do.
Well, sorry, that was a bad segue. Never mind. I missed the intro. Start over. So,
we were talking about Tears of the Kingdom and all the spoilers. So you ready, John? I'll pause and let you answer.
Hey, man, people are getting this game early. They're emulating it. Like,
I know. That's where I got all my info from.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was going to tell John all about it. I was going to tell you, too.
I can't hear you. Fart knocker. Shut up, butt knocker. All right, let's do this. You ready to get started? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
How's that one? Does that one taste any better?
I don't know yet.
You haven't taken a drink of it yet?
No. It smells better.
He is not. He's left-handed still. He's ambidextrous.
He's link-handed. It's better.
Like much better?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like markedly better.
Yeah.
All right.
So stay away from the white one.
Yeah. Always.
Oh.
All right, you ready? Let's get started.
Okay.
Let's see if we got the sounds going
Okay,
here.
Bert.
All right. Let's do this shit. Ready? Did I ask you that already?
You did. You are fucking rusty. You need to brush that shit off and get
All right.
going.
The arsonist has oddly shaped feet. Yeah, that's right. Welcome back to the Lost Joystick Network, episode 48. I am your host, Mike, joined as always by my co-host, Jay. Jay, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I've been sitting here for a fucking month.
Yeah, you've been sitting here for a month waiting for you to start the show?
Yeah.
A lot of people have been waiting a month for something from this show, so that works out. That's right, we're back, baby. Anyway, Jay, how have your weeks been? We haven't spoke in this format for a few weeks. We had our interview with Richard DeVizio, Rich, and we did our MGC recap.
We did?
Neither of which have been posted.
No.
We'll see if they ever do get posted. That's fine, neither here nor there. We're going to get this shit back on the rails starting now. So I ask once again, Jay, how have your weeks been?
Good.
Great update.
Been
Moving
playing,
on.
I was going to keep talking.
Oh,
I was
go
doing
ahead.
A dramatic
I thought that
pause.
was it.
No, calm down.
All right.
So I went over to Retro Replayed. I put some lights in for Kyle
Yeah.
and decided I was going to beat Mortal Kombat 3 there on the arcade one-up. After much chagrin and MFing that game, I did beat it.
What do you think of, just a quick question related. On the arcade one-up, it's a two-layered question. It's two-part.
Okay.
Number one, how did you feel about your experience with an arcade one-up? You have plenty of experience playing the standard upright.
Yes.
And then part two, what are your thoughts on anybody in that game that wears green?
I'm going to answer that question I'm going to answer both those questions with one answer. And it's, yeah, those things are kind of trashy. Not fun. I mean, if you want to spend a couple $100 for an arcade, they're okay. They're fine.
It's a simulated experience.
But yeah, it's just, there's so many things lacking on it. Like, because they're taking, like, basically the Super Nintendo or Genesis version and putting it on an LCD and giving it a control stick is really all they're doing with it. So the graphics aren't that great. Like, one key thing that I pointed out when we played it, because you and I then raced, which you smoked me. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
But I was using smoke and I did his fatality. And when you do the world explosion where he throws all the bombs out and they show the planet and it's floating in space and there's stars everywhere.
Yep.
On the one-up, there's just two lines of stars diagonally and that's it.
Nope.
And it's like, it's terrible.
Yep.
So, but yes, after that, every time you get to the endurance round, it's Jade and Reptile who are super aggressive.
Jade has always been my mortal enemy, if you will, in that game. Jade is the worst to play against because those games are programmed as such that they can do perfect counters. And when Jade has the ability to perfect counter any projectile by becoming invincible to a projectile and then executing a 7-hit combo, it's tough, man.
Yes.
She whoops your ass. She's the worst.
Yes. So I did feel much better after we left Kyle's, because you and I went back out there.
That's right.
And we raced.
Yeah,
and you beat me because, of course, right out of the gate, I'm not even thinking about it. I do a fatality on the first win.
Yeah, so
and you're like 3 games in now because I had to wait for the fatality.
So Kyle has 2 of the arcade one-ups. They're similar, but they're not the same. But they both have Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. So Jake goes in, he goes, let's race. He turns them both on, which was an ordeal in itself just to get going because one of them was whatever. So we get it up and running. I've never played on these things. And yeah, you decided, like, let's race. But you're like, you know what? Every time I take a lap, I'm going to take a break.
Yeah.
Because you did a fatality the first time and I just chuckled. I was like, you dumb bitch. I was doing the thing where you just go and punch the guy real quick to end it. Like, don't even wait. Yeah, so, yeah, the race ended in my favor. But go ahead.
But yeah, we did that. Then, of course, we went back to your place and played the actual arcade of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3,
Yes.
which made me feel much better.
It should have. You were much better.
Yes.
You beat Shao Kahn on the first try.
On Master.
On Master. Yep.
So we were even going on rookie level. I don't know what it's called on it.
Well, I don't remember either. I would have been able to tell you Warrior, not even Warrior.
No.
Pleb. I don't know what it's called.
I can't remember what it's called. Whatever the easiest one is.
Yeah,
is
the
one
first.
we went through.
Yeah.
And yeah, I ran right through it on Endurance. I got hung up on the Sub-Zeros I ran right through it on Warrior. I got hung up on the Sub-Zeros on Endurance.
Motaro was a pain in the ass too.
That was just me not doing my combo.
Yeah,
right.
you were fucking
I
up.
kept screwing the combo up.
Yeah, you were fucking up.
So that was all me.
Yeah.
But other than that, not much. Got some records. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really about it.
So that's
Getting
it.
the old Costanza wallet out there. What's
No
going on
shit.
there?
It's
God.
kind of turning into the Costanza wallet.
Yeah, it is.
I got to clean it out. Usually I get a bunch. I just had to get it out because I didn't want to be sitting on it because like Costanza, you get back problems. Honestly, it's not usually this thick. I usually take shit out of it, and I haven't since I traveled to Chicago, which is a perfect segue to talk about why we're doing this a week later than we had planned. I work for a company.
How's your week? Let me ask you that.
Yeah.
Now we'll segue back into it. Go ahead.
Oh, good. Well, now that you mention it, I hadn't really thought about it, but I was in Chicago.
Oh,
Yeah.
do tell.
Oh, man. Lots of stuff. Went to Chicago for sales kickoff for the company I work for. They're based out of there, right in the loop. And it was long days. Like, this is, again, why we had to push it back, because I was literally in some kind of a meeting or conference or whatever for 14 hours a day almost. We had a dinner. Like, it would be like, okay, breakfast is from 7 to 8. And then from 8 till 5:30, you'd be busy. And then from 5:30 to 6:30, you get to go to the hotel and quote unquote rest before dinner, which was like obligatory. And they like had an awards dinner one night, and they had like a vendor sponsored dinner the other night. And it was like a, fake casino setting, that type of thing. It was fun. And I got to see some people I don't see very often, but man, those were long days. So like Wednesday came, I was there Sunday, I had to leave Sunday. And on my way there, I actually stopped at a guy who I had met last year at Midwest Gaming Classic. Name is Brian. He owns a store in Middleville, Michigan, which is kind of really the middle of nowhere. It's south of Grand Rapids. But Brian is a big NES collector. Brian Schneider, I think his name is. He owns Pixel Perfect video games. And I stopped by his shop to say hi to him. And I didn't get a chance to buy anything. I kind of wanted to just chat him up. And he got busy by the time when I got there, it got busy. So I left and, finished getting to Chicago. And then we had like the entry thing, like the beginning thing was Sunday night, like the welcome dinner or whatever. And then I was basically sequestered until Wednesday afternoon, which was the start of my real Chicago adventure, because it kind of parlays into the next segment. And I won't get into it yet, but I got to see our friend, Mr. Coleman, and his lovely girlfriend, Lauren. And I was able to meet Nick Sheptak, so Cartmageddon or Shepsis. I met him. Robbie and I rolled up there, and he's near Wilmette, so they were surfing there in Wilmette. And it's some punk rock humor for the kids out there that love that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, and yeah, that was it. And then I drove back. Like there's a lot of other stuff that happened. Blah blah blah. I'll get into a lot of it with the collecting update part, but that was really it. And then this week has been a lot of work and preparation, because I'm off on Friday.
Ew.
Friday is May 12th, 2023. And I don't know if you know this, but there's a game coming out.
No.
Yep. It's called Gears of War 7.
Oh.
It's not.
Gears of War is a terrible game.
Yeah, I know.
I was actually kind of excited to play that when it first came out.
Yeah, we all were.
Not good.
Yeah. But yeah, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom comes out on Friday. So it's so funny how your life is, where you're like, one of the friends of the show is helping me get a collector's edition. Okay. I'm not going to name names unless they want me to, which I don't think they're in the chat right now. So that'll out 3 people at least. But that meant I'm not going to have the game the day of the game. And I took the day off to play the game. So then I'm like, well, I got to get the game. So I started figuring out like who's doing any kind of, what's happening, whatever. GameStop's doing this thing where if you pre-order it, you can pick it up at midnight. So tomorrow night at midnight, I can go pick it up from the store, which is, 10 minutes from my house at most.
Yeah, and we just went and did that actually tonight, just before the show.
Yeah, so what did you say? The nerd walking in the Zelda shirt, pre-ordering the Zelda game, and then bought what?
A Zelda shirt.
Another Zelda shirt. Like we were walking in, you're like, oh my God, you're wearing a Zelda shirt to go in and pre-order the game, you nerd.
And then we walked in, and the guy was like, can I help you? And you were like, yeah, I want to pre-order Tears of the Kingdom. And I was like, that's a surprise, and kept going. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, and then I looked over to you while he was like setting it all up.
The guy's midway through handling this. I just wandered around the store, and then I hear you all of a sudden go, hold on a second, and just walk away from the guy.
There was nobody else in the store.
Still.
I walked over and I saw this shirt. I had to have it as a banger. Nintendo licensed. It's a banger shirt. No, for those who are listening in the Audible format, because I will post this one, by the way, it is the Legend of Zelda splash screen logo from the NES version of the game.
The original.
In a green. The shirt's green, the original logo. Yes. Pretty cool. And they have a weird process. So I go there.
This is stupid.
The guy says, okay, it's all pre-ordered and paid for the game, whatever. Physical.
Because you didn't have to pay for the whole thing, correct?
No, I could have just paid $5.
Like 10%. Oh.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what it is. So I paid for the whole game again. And the guy says, okay, now tomorrow after 3:00, come here to finalize your receipt. And then at midnight, come back and you can pick it up. And I thought to myself, I just paid for it and you know it. Like, can't you finalize the receipt right here now? Like, I don't understand what you have to finalize. Are you just trying to get a grip of how many people are actually going to come here at midnight? Because I'm going to tell you, it's going to be at least one. Somebody's going to need to be here at 11:59 to open the doors.
Yeah. Because
I'll be here punching a hole through the door and taking my copy and all the ephemera they've got all over the place. All the marketing stuff that they've got. I'm like, well, if you're going to rob a place, just get everything. Yeah. I wasn't originally going to rob the place, but if you rob it, you might as well get some stuff.
Just get a giant toothbrush and
Ricky
pry
says.
the safe right out of the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Anyway, so yeah, I've got that all ready. I've got Friday off. I'm ready to dive in because the only other update I really have is, you know what else I've been doing? Playing video games.
Get out of town.
I'll give you a brief update. There's a couple of them.
Zelda.
Well, hold on. Spoiler alert. Easy. John, don't listen because he just spoiled it. I beat Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, 14-0. And we'll get into that a little bit in the collecting section as well because there's a reason why. And then I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. It was Zelda. Yes, it was Zelda, John. You got it. I found the last few shrines I needed to find. I went and defeated Ganon again. I defeated Ganon a number of times. But this time I beat him and then continued to play on the save where I beat him. And now,
So you're like 300% done with that game, right?
Well, that's the funny part. I did the DLC stuff with the champions ballads and all that stuff. And I got the motorbike. You get like this cool like rune bike that you can drive around. So then after you beat Ganon and save the game and play through that save instead of like an older one where you hadn't beat him, you can see what percentage of the game you have done. Now, I was surprised, but not surprised. Because I looked at like where I've been on that map, and I've been all over the place. Because now you can like trace your steps from the very beginning, like the hero's adventure, whatever the hell they call it.
So basically, Link has a Fitbit now.
Kinda.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like a breadcrumb thing for
see
Hyruleans.
Dots on the screen.
It's a big green line. You think you'd see it. But anyway, so 47% was where I was at, and I have played that game for hundreds of hours. Maybe this week. I don't even know how many this week.
You ain't doing it right.
Well, what I've realized as well is I have not gotten nearly enough Korok seeds. I've gotten all the shrines, 120, but there's 900 Korok seeds, I think, and I have about 200. And I don't really like outwardly search them out. I generally find them as I'm adventuring and running around, but that's a lot I haven't found. So anyway, beat the game, found the shrines. I got some prep work to do before tomorrow afternoon and evening for the game. Got to get a nap in. Got to get some sleep because I'm going to pick that thing up at midnight. I'm going to be playing it for at least an hour or 10. I don't know. You coming over on Friday?
No.
Oh, fucking come over.
Why?
You can watch me play it.
No.
Oh.
Sounds like a horrible idea.
It is. You're right. Okay.
I'm going to go out to the garage and play Mortal Kombat all day.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. I'll come out there and play it on the TV out there. As Amy said, the good thing about living with you is there's a TV in every room. It's true.
And mounted in most rooms.
By a professional.
I don't know if I'd say professional.
Well, how's this? Are you retaining your amateur status for the mounting Olympics, or what are you doing here?
Maybe.
Okay, well, see how it goes later. See how many of these I have.
See if I get a license deal.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I say unless you have something else, we move into collecting because that's going to be a little bit of a biscuit.
I'm going to take a nap when
All
we're
right.
doing that because mine will probably be longer than yours.
You think so?
No.
Okay. I was just trying to scare you a little bit there, and you looked over for the sound, and I was right in your face. You're like, oh, wait, whoa, what is this?
I was looking at the control deck over here.
Welcome to the Collector's Update. What a great name. Yeah, there's a couple control decks. Neither of those are the ones that the one I'm going to talk about either.
I wasn't even trying to steal your thunder on that. I was just looking, and I was like, oh, control deck.
There's a lot of stuff going on. I got to pull up some pictures on my phone to remember some shit.
Am I going first?
Yeah, why don't you go first?
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Okay. So I didn't get a ton of stuff. Of course. Yeah. What did I get? Let's see. What are you doing over there?
Sorry. I didn't know there was sound with that. Go ahead.
I want to take some Tums for that or something.
that was Ganon.
Oh.
I know. Good.
Does he haunt your dreams?
No, not no more.
Okay.
Not after he's been eradicated.
Oh, well. I thought maybe that 47% didn't get him totally eradicated.
No, the scourge of Hyrule.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. So.
Rip.
No, I got a couple records. I ended up picking up, I'm trying to think. I pre-ordered Thrice a long time ago.
Yep.
The Arsene and the Ambulance, which should be coming soon.
Okay.
It said ships by the end of May, so it should be pretty quick. I don't know why I just thought of that. But I got that. I got Botch, so We Are the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that Pharaoh
Sanders.
Yes.
With Floating Points and the London Symphony Orchestra.
Yes, I picked that up. So
that shit is
good.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
If you like, and I always hate this word. I hate when people use it. But if you like ethereal type spacey jazz music, it's like this mashup of some bit of electronica and then Pharoah Sanders playing saxophone, right?
Yeah.
And then the London Symphony Orchestra, and that shit is dope.
It's one of those you can just sit down and just veg out.
It sure is.
It's very good. So yeah, I picked up those. And yeah, that's about it. Didn't really do anything else.
That's it.
Yeah, nothing.
All right. Well, I guess
Told you,
that's the
pretty
whole
anticlimactic.
that's the whole collecting update then.
All right. So on to the show.
Oh boy. Okay. So this is gonna take a couple minutes.
I'm gonna take a nap.
I don't even know where to start. When I made this list of the things I've picked up in the past few weeks, it's substantial. There's a lot of shit going on here.
I just want to go on the record. You got a problem.
Yeah, I know. It's a problem.
And I think your problem is going to be divulged tonight because I think that's going to come up.
Yeah, that's okay. So here, let me get started.
Go ahead.
So I mentioned I went to Chicago, visited with Robbie. Part of the intent of that trip as well, outside of the work and seeing Robbie, was to visit Nick Sheptak is his name, Cartmageddon, he still collects, but not as much. And then
he's being more selective.
Yes, Shepsis, I believe, is his current name on Instagram. So SHEPSIS. But so Nick reached out to me at one point and said, "Hey, I'm offloading a bunch of stuff. I'm kind of whittling my collection down to the things I really, really want. And there's a lot of stuff that I do not want anymore." And Nick has collected with Robbie. He was the one running around door to door asking people if they had Nintendo games for sale. And he knows all the dirty secrets about Robbie. It's great. So it's awesome. But so he reached out and said, "Hey, he sent me some pictures. Would you be interested?" He gave me a nice deal on some stuff. And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." It was a pile of stuff, man. I'm not going to lie. It filled up kind of the back of I have a little crossover SUV car.
About the same size as mine.
Yeah, it's like the back of a Blazer, essentially. and it was kind of full of stuff.
So actually, this is the second time because I picked some stuff up when I went to Chicago.
Yes.
About 2 months ago for you, from Nick.
You sure did. That was things like the Miracle piano and all that stuff. That whole
filled up the back of my car.
Yeah, so that's twice. So just some highlights. I got a control deck, the NES control deck. Yeah, you're good. And I got a Nintendo Power set. I got I'm not the magazines. I should say the Power Pad set, right? The whatever you call that. I forget. Power Pad set with the Power Pad in it. The boxed NES. I got a Nintendo Action set, which is the orange gun variant of that. And I got a Nintendo Deluxe set. All these in the box. Now, some of them don't have the Nintendos, but that's irrelevant. I have Nintendos to put in them. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. I got a complete in box Power Glove that I believe has only ever been opened one time from him.
And it's nice.
And I will say, pretty much everything I've gotten from him is immaculate, except for the stuff that Robbie went and swapped out and did like condition upgrades on.
No, the manuals
and it's
he
all
took
still,
out.
It's all, yeah, exactly. He still all the manuals. I got a bunch of loose and boxed NES games, and I'm gonna pull out some of the highlights here.
Okay.
Let me do this. I'm just gonna get this stuff out. One moment. Switch. A lot of stuff going on here, folks. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of shit over there.
Dude, it's a scene, man. Okay. So, highlights. Okay, so first of all, loose cart wise, that goes over here for later. Loose cart wise, I got things like Mega Man 1 through 6, but not 2. 2 is the only one he didn't include. They're all very nice. And a good friend of ours who is possibly in chat right now is going to be buying a few of those. I'm giving him the good bro price on them. I'm trying to think of what else was loose that he had in there. I have to look real quick. I just didn't even bring any of that stuff. I just had the picture up too. Where'd it go? Okay. So yeah, Castlevania 1, 2, and 3, Contra, Life Force, Punch Out, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, a Yellow Label Metroid, stuff like that. You know, Super Dodgeball, really nice versions of things like Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six and Wolverine, because those end labels are white and they almost always look like shit.
Look nasty.
And these were definite upgrades to mine, which were not bad, but they were just really nice upgrades. Yep. And then I got a whole fleet of boxed games. I think there were probably 50 boxed NES games in there. Yep. Maybe even closer to 60. Yep. And half of them I didn't have, and half of them I did. But some of the key ones I did not have. First of all, there were a couple of unlicensed, like Robo Demons was in there. A couple of decent, unlicensed complete. But let's see here. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. Okay. Tecmo did not have this complete in the box. Okay. That was one in
box.
What's that? No, none of these are. This is what I mean. All the stuff I got from him is stuff that he's been collecting for a number of years and has probably done his own condition upgrades over the years with.
Are we stacking them tonight?
No, I don't know if they'll stay. We could try.
Well, with the protectors, sometimes they get wobbly.
Yeah. Friday the 13th. Didn't have it.
Yep.
Okay. Now, and keep in mind, all these boxed games I already have. So the complete in box ones that I already have, I'll sell as complete. The ones I have that I already have the loose cart of, I'm just going to sell the cart.
Yeah.
So
just go with me.
Yeah. How did I not have a copy of Bad Dudes Complete?
Not bad.
How?
Not bad.
I am now.
Not bad.
I'm on that Coleman level now.
Not bad.
It's true.
You are.
So had that. This is one I sold when I first got into collecting because I'm like, oh, I'm not collecting boxes. Guess what? That story's over. Okay. So, because you'll find out later why. The real reason why it's over. That one's obliterated. Yeah, I'm collecting the boxes now. Hey, Valdor. Nice to see you, sir. Tengen Tetris in the box. I had this complete. I sold it at the show at Factory 2 in 2019, I think. I wound up selling it off, and that's when I was collecting loose carts in the licensed set. I already had a loose copy of this, too. That's $100-some-odd loose game. So, got that. And then the real big boy that I got from him.
No manual, though.
Yeah, I'll get one.
Okay.
The real big boy I got was Metal Storm.
Oh.
Now, it doesn't have the poster, which, whatever. I don't fret over that kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah. Some people would pay a bunch of money for those kinds of posters. There's very few games I would feel that way, that I want like 100% complete. Nice manual, nice cart, nice box. You know, it's not perfect, but I'll, yeah. So that's like, that was the big boy of the boxed games. Okay. I also got a whole shit ton of manuals. So I probably have like 60 or 70 at least spare manuals now. And I probably have at least 50 boxed games. And I have probably 50 to 60 loose games that are going to go with us to VGS in July in McCook. They're a suburb of Chicago. So I'll be bringing that stuff with me for the show. Unless, you know, people are interested, like reach out. I'm happy to send you pictures and give you a deal or whatever if it's something you're looking for or need or whatever. But yeah, I replenished my NES stock stuff, you know, for the shows, but also like got a lot of great stuff for myself. Yeah. And I was pretty hyped about that. And I was really thankful that Nick reached out to me, and I'm really happy to have a lot of this stuff. Like that deluxe box is beautiful. It's nicer than the one I have. That's going to replace my set. I'll probably sell the one I have that I bought off eBay a few years ago, you know. So yeah,
you've gotten lucky on boxes lately with the ones that Tim got you.
Yep.
And I know those.
That's one of them right there.
Yeah, that's a great looking box.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. So as for those not able to see, that is the Gridbox Genesis Sonic 1 variant, right? Included. So the Tom Kalinske special. Yeah, I told you about earlier.
Is this the big boy box you got?
From Nick.
Oh, okay.
So we'll get to. We'll get to that. Go ahead. We'll get. Like I was driving to something there, so you're good. Do you have a list of those manuals? I will happily send you a list of those manuals, Valdor. No problem. I've got a bunch.
And I'll remind him so he doesn't forget.
Yeah, I'll probably do it while I wait long hours tomorrow to pick up my Zelda.
Manuals.
Yep. Valdor 3.5.
For Valdor. Okay.
Now, on to step 2. Talked with our friend, Mr. Iucci, Johnny, from the Collector's Quest podcast.
The man.
And I had sent Johnny man, you'll talk and I can't hear because I'm at the bowling alley, says Kaylin. That's okay. We got to talk because I need some stuff now, and I might have some stuff. We'll see. Oh, I should mention, one of the good manuals I got out of that is a Ninja Gaiden 3. Ooh. Yeah. You know who'd like that? Ooh. Johnny's co-host would enjoy that. But speaking of Johnny.
Stefan?
Speaking of Johnny, I had sent him a number of Super Famicom games. I think it was around, I don't know, it was sometime in the past few months. And I was like, hey, you know, you can pay me if you see me at Midwest Gaming Classic, or we'll figure it out. I know you got stuff to trade. I wasn't really worried about it. And I'd give him, you know, a good deal on it. Yeah. So he said, you know, I had picked out some other games that he was interested in, and I was going to send to him as well. And he said, well, let me, you know, let's work something out now. You know, like you're sending me a second box. I haven't sent you anything. And I'm like, I'm not sweating it. I know where you're at. Like, I'm not, you know, we'll figure it out. But he sends me all these, he actually did a video call with me, like through Discord. And he was just showing me everything. And I was like, you have a lot of shit, dude. I thought I had a lot of shit. Johnny's got a lot of stuff.
Who has more, him or Kalen?
I mean, honestly.
Is it pretty close?
I don't know I don't think Kalen has an entire Wii set in his garage in tubs. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway. But anyway.
He can't hear us.
Neither here nor there. So Johnny had a bunch of Turbo stuff that I didn't have. So I got a couple of boxes from him. Let me see here. I think it was 3 boxes and then a few games. So these are empty boxes.
Because Johnny has a whole Turbo set too.
Oh yeah. Complete in box set. Jesus. Beautiful. He sent me a picture of it, by the way.
Christmas.
Box for Victory Run, which these boxes are made of paper, man. They're so thin.
But nobody kept nice.
Well, the funny part about these games is nobody kept the boxes, because the manual is in the case with the CD. Like, why would I need this box? You know what I mean? Like, they only did this probably for theft protection.
I'm sure most people were like, rip.
Oh, yeah. They're so thin. Dragon Spirit, which I got complete for him and found out later I already had the game. So now I have the box, and I have a copy of Dragon Spirit for sale for TurboGrafx, and then R-Type, which, you know, love that game. And anyway, so I now have, I think, 6 or 7 complete Turbo boxes, which that's fucked up. Okay.
No, it's fucked up is an entire Turbo set.
Yeah, complete. In box.
Yeah.
And arranged by color perfectly. I know a guy that has that. Let's try to at least
What are you doing?
I'm just trying to put the stuff
You're
out.
Moving everything, making a mess.
Shut it. Okay. Now, some complete in case games. Tiger Road. Got that. Silent Debuggers. Didn't have. Talked about Dragon Spirit for sale. Did not have a copy of TV Sports Football, which I'm going to have to take this weird medical tape off the front, but that's fine. And then the real coup de grace of this was Superstar Soldier, a shooter. Good game. And probably more expensive of the games that I got from him in the trade. Yeah. So very nice of him to send those off. He sent me some pins. I have some Collector's Quest pins. I don't know if I brought them.
Oh, you have a complete set.
Shh.
I had to.
I don't think I brought them. Yeah, so basically there's an 8-pin set, and I have the complete set. I believe he told me I'm the only other person that has a complete set. The Where is Cat pin is the stadium events of the Collector's Quest pin set. That's what I heard.
All right. Dragon Spirit, a port of the NES.
You want that shit? You got to go through Miraiuchi, boy. So anyway,
I'm gonna ask Johnny for a full set too.
Yeah, probably the same one.
Just so I can give you the double whammy.
Yeah, thanks. The double cat.
Yeah.
I also got a boxed copy of Primal Rage from him for Genesis, and I'm trying to think there was something else, but I can't remember what it was. So neither here nor there.
Is Dragon Spirit a port for the NES? It's not, is it?
I don't think that's the same game. This is like an overhead dragon shooter where you're like a dragon flying, I think, if I remember correctly. It's like a shooter where your overhead view of a dragon and you shoot. Is it? I don't think it's the same game. Anyway, you figure that out. I'll continue. So
Robbie said same game.
Okay, there you go. I'm gonna kind of like bounce around here. I had to get that.
And what is that for the people that are not watching us live?
It's the limited edition Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo OLED Switch.
So what's this make? Like 12 Switches that you own?
I have 3 and soon to be 2 because I have a very nice, almost new white OLED Switch that will soon be for sale, which I'll be transferring. That's part of prep tomorrow. It's transferring.
Have you opened this yet?
No.
I'm going to go ahead and open it.
Don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah, let me open my own stuff. Can't do that. You're freaking out now. You're looking at it.
No.
Stop looking at it. It can't be played ever. Okay. Don't even point at it.
I do like the Joy-Con adapters are white. That's nice. It's a nice touch.
It's neat.
Yeah.
So got that. And now we get to like the real stuff.
Oh God. We aren't even to the real stuff.
So Amy's birthday was the 22nd. And I took her down to Madison Heights for the weekend, which is like an hour away, to do some shopping and all that good stuff, just to get her away from the house and let her relax. And she had a fantastic time. We're driving down on Friday night, and our friend Retro Bobby, who's in the chat, says, hey, there's this 8-bit con at the Lexus Velodrome, which is one of those inflatable domes, the Velodrome or whatever it is. Do you want to go to this thing? I'm thinking about going early tomorrow morning. So I mentioned it to Amy. I'm like, oh, I know tomorrow's your birthday. And she goes, if you go early, I'm not going to be up. I'm going to be fucking asleep, like whatever. So I get up. Bobby meets me in the hotel parking lot. We drive over to the Velodrome, meet a few people, and there's a friend there of his named Scott, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Can you call it the Terradrome instead?
Welcome to the Terradrome. Yeah, I will. Okay. So bought a few things at the con, met his friend Scott, who is also like an NES variant collector like he is. And I'll just kind of go through it real quick. Bought a few copies of Game Pro magazines they had, which you're not seeing those very often anymore. So I grabbed a few of those. One of the cooler things I bought, since it's on theme, is this. It's the first edition of the first issue of the Valiant Nintendo Legend of Zelda comic. And it is a CGC graded 8.5. And I can see why. There's a crease in the corner, and there's a little bit of ink loss on the spine. But it could probably be cracked out of there, pressed, and made to be a little bit better. But pretty cool stuff.
It's Iron Sword ad on the back.
Yeah, Fabio's on the back of it, which is real sexy for those who can't see. Flip it over, let the people see. Don't tease. There you go. But anyway, I grabbed that because it was like a Comic-Con / video game thing, and I thought, oh, let me, it looked cool, and I'm glad I did because my friend Scott showed up, Scott is the guy who sold me, traded me, kind of hybrid, Panic Restaurant and Dragon Fighter for the NES for my set. Yeah. So Scott was there, and he's like, oh, man, did you buy that here? That's one of the ones I need. And I'm like, yeah, sorry, bud. But he did find some adhesive, vintage Zelda Valentines, and he bought both of them, and he sold me one at cost. So that was cool. So anyway, so I got that. And then I didn't bring these with me, but I should have. And again, This is not the reason, but I bought a couple of NES boxes whilst there. Bobby's friend Scott was selling like empty boxes, and I didn't really know which ones I needed, so I was like, I don't really want to grab anything because I don't know what I have and what I don't.
Yeah.
Well, he had DuckTales too, so I bought it.
Woohoo.
Yeah, box only. I already had the manual and I already had the game. So I'm like, cool. Put it all together. Why
I
not?
just did that because you said DuckTales.
Woo. You have to.
Yeah.
Just I think they even said that just on the. You know what's funny? They said that. Yeah. Okay.
I'm stealing. I'm absolutely stealing.
Yeah.
It
Well,
from
it's not
stores.
stealing. It's
Borrowing.
It's helping to perpetuate.
Yes.
You should do that.
Yeah.
If somebody says DuckTales, you should say
Woohoo.
exactly. Woo. I also bought and I say very nice. It's all relative. A nice copy of a complete in box Contra. The Circle Code for those who care.
That was pretty nice too.
Yeah, the Circle Seal of Quality. That game is always in shit condition. The box is always fucked. I don't know what it is about that game. Every other Konami game is fine, but for some reason that one always looks like shit.
That's because it was such a banger. The people that kept the boxes kept opening it and closing it to get the game.
Probably.
And put it away.
It's the Mega Man 2 syndrome, I always say. That game is always fucked up because it's one you always grabbed and played.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that one is really nice. And so then I got that. And then I'm going to get to it now.
Okay, I'm ready. I got some stuff queued up.
You got some stuff queued up? So I come back from the 8-Bit Con. It's like 10:30 in the morning. They stopped serving breakfast at 11. I walk up to the room, talk to Amy, and she's like definitely still in bed. I said, sweetie, by the time I got to the room, it's like 10:45. I said, sweetie, if you want breakfast, I was thinking maybe I'd see you down in the lobby because that's Amy's MO is to show up at the last minute and eat.
Yeah.
So if you want breakfast, you're going to need to go now because the breakfast ends at 11. And she's like, oh, I do. So she gets all ready. We get downstairs at like 10:58, of course. And we order breakfast, whatever. The lady didn't care. She was going to be there all day. It didn't matter. And while I'm sitting there having second breakfast with Amy, I get a text from a friend of mine who works at one of the media reloads here. My friend Todd.
Oh, yeah. That's where, okay.
So Todd says, hey, do you have that Flintstones Blockbuster game, I believe is what he said. And I said, well, yeah, I have, I didn't say it, but, I have all the licensed games. Like, yeah, I have it. He goes, is it really that expensive? And I said, yeah, it's probably, outside of stadium events, it's one of the two most expensive games on the system. It was late release and it's hard to find. There's speculation about how many were really ever released or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So he goes, we just got it complete in box at the store.
Oh, shit! Ah! Mom!
I did call my mom. I said, Mom! Meatloaf! Flintstones! Fuck! So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I looked at my phone, I was like, excuse me? Like,
You're
what?
like, play it smooth, Pitts.
Yeah.
Play it smooth.
Yep. So I said, okay. And he sends me a picture of it. Box is nice. It's a former Blockbuster box. And it has the Blockbuster sticker on the front that says special, price $5.99 was what it sold for, probably in like 1994 or 5 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could probably actually look because the date is on the sticker on the box, right? Whatever, on the back. So I'm like, what am I doing here? Am I like you have that moment where you're like, well, am I doing this? What are we doing? Is this it? Is this the moment? This is the polarizing moment where you're either in or you're out. Like you're either jumping in to the deep end or you're going to abstain.
Yeah.
Splash, man. Jumped right in. I said, how much is this? Right. And he tells me it's actually, I'm not going to go into the numbers, but it was a fair price for what it was.
Not cheap, but not bad.
Not cheap, but compared to what the going rate was, I felt like was a good price. So I said, does Mark know about this? Mark is the owner and friend of mine. He goes, oh yeah. I said, all right. So I text Mark. I said, we got to talk about this Flintstones game, man. What's going on here? And he goes, well, are you like interested? And I said, I will buy it. I will pay cash. Like, what's the best price? And he goes, well, what do you think is fair? Because I know what they had on it, and I thought what they had on it was pretty reasonable. So I made him an offer, and he said, give me $100 less than that because you helped me out. And I was like, now I have to buy it. So, yeah. So, There it is.
Flintstones.
Woo.
You ever played that game?
Yeah. It's
I've
not
never
bad.
played it.
It's not bad. It's good.
We should do an episode of that.
We might have to now. Well, and I'm going to say this. I don't like spending that much money on anything in general. But I knew that I already had this game.
Says the dude that has 700 fucking games setting up here.
Shut up.
I
We're
just
not
got these in the last 8 days.
Shut up.
Bought my 5th copy of Tears of the Kingdom, and it hasn't even come out
that's
yet.
the wrong Flintstones. He says that's the cheap one. Oh, shit. it's Dino and Hoppy. Fuck. Or whatever that one is. So I know full well I already have this game, and my cartridge is nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not worried. I'm like, I'm going to take the cartridge. I'll sell it. Okay, and I know roughly what I can get for it, but I also know I have a friend who has this game, who has a complete licensed NES set, and his is fucked.
Looks like it came out of a sea of shit.
Yeah, it sure does.
You get that?
Well done. Ba-dumps. So the second I posted this to our little podcast group chat, about an hour later, I get a phone call from one of them. And I'm like, gee, I wonder what this is about.
It was me.
It was not Jay. It was not Jay.
I am the new owner of a copy of
Yes.
Flintstones.
As
A
you
loose
take that one and
copy.
sell it for $4.25 or whatever you sell my shit for.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of which, I haven't in a while. We got
Yeah.
quite a bit up here. Starting offer $4.25. Anybody?
look anywhere else but this table right now. So how much for the Sea of Shit copy? That's what we're trying to figure out.
That is nope. There's no price tag on that.
Yeah, it's gonna be autographed by him. It might as well be.
I should
Looking
have had
at
him autograph it.
it. Oh yeah,
I had the tape and the record there.
yeah.
Son of a bitch.
But anyway,
I'll see
so
Robbie again.
So part of this trek to Chicago was also to be my own mule and deliver the goods to our friend Mr. Coleman, who now has. Did someone say bare knuckle? We will be, absolutely. We got a Sega Shops in the chat there talking about bare knuckle. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
But anyway, so yes, Robbie now has possession of both carts. He will be selling his cart, and that is how he will fund upgrading, which is a very difficult thing to do. And I'm trying to be more than fair with him price wise, and he already has it, and I'm not worried about any of that stuff. Robbie's a good friend, and we're good. Like, I shouldn't even have said anything because it's all assumed. But my point of that is to say I could feel okay buying that because I knew I was really going to ultimately pay for it, and now I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about it because that means now I have to find other ones. I'm in the 325-ish range, and I don't have a lot of common stuff, but I also don't have a lot of very uncommon stuff.
So what's the plan then?
I don't know what the plan is yet. Sell
Just
a bunch
do
of
it.
shit.
Just announce it.
Sell it. I don't know.
Announce it.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm there yet.
I'm
What?
going to announce it for you if you're not.
Announce what?
That you are going to collect the entire boxed NES set.
I never said I was going to do it.
You're going to.
I told myself I wouldn't, and that was stupid.
Dude, you're almost halfway there already.
Yeah, I'm going to fucking do it. Okay, let's go. Fuck it. I'll probably do it.
What do you have? Like 3 more uber rare ones to get? And then the rest
Oh,
is...
no. I have Samson, Panic Restaurant, Power Blade 2. There's a Kid Clown, Cowboy Kid, all that.
Those are all easy.
You lied to yourself. Yeah, I do that a lot. Madman. Yeah, it's true. I'm a madman. But I've also thought, like, this money comes from, the money I spent came from the stuff I sold at Midwest Gaming Classic.
So here's the plan. This is how this
Okay.
is going to work.
Okay.
So you're going to get the entire boxed NES set.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay. You're going to do that.
Yes?
Then when Stadium Events comes around,
Yeah.
you're going to have a loose set and a box set. Sell that loose set. That will fund your
So
Stadium Events.
So what you're saying
Then
is
you'll have to find a box for Stadium Events.
have 2 sets and
Yes.
trade the loose set. That is insanity. We're talking pure insanity there. That's delving into like a whole other level of like Oath Keepers like insanity.
Dude, you're almost halfway there.
Shut up. Please stop telling me that. Don't look over to your right either at the stack of how many that is. I don't even know. Anyway, those are duplicates.
You have almost half a loose set.
Before I forget, Robbie also supplied me with some boxes as well. So I got Raid on Bungling Bay. Yeah, I know.
I'm not going to collect the box set, but let's go back to I'm going to get more boxes.
What did I just say?
You're doing it.
I know. I just said I was doing it.
Okay, well, you kept him and hawing.
I didn't. I done him and hawing. But anyway, so if anybody's out there with harder to find NES boxes in some semblance of decent condition, I could potentially be a target. I mean, buyer.
He could.
Mark. We'll see. Or trader. I got plenty of stuff. Now,
Oh God,
I want
we're
to get.
still not fucking done.
There's one thing left to talk about.
Jesus, we're an hour into the show.
There's one thing left to talk about.
Go ahead.
I got one more thing. It's NES related. I got a Sharp NES TV.
You did.
Bought it from our friend, Matt Mace. Matt has decided he was going to get rid of some stuff, and he's had one. It came into Media Reload when he worked there, and Mark had told me about it, the owner, and he said, I think Matt's going to buy it, and he did, and that's cool. I said, all right, no problem. But Matt knew I wanted it, and Matt was thinking about getting rid of it, so it was a very quick thing. He and I went and played golf, went to Retro Taku later that day, and then he was like, hey, would you want that NES TV? Because we saw like a fake, like a repro controller for them because they have their own controllers, and I was like, yeah, why? And he goes, I'll just sell it to you. I think we can get rid of it. And I'm like, okay. So like the next day he brought it to the house. It has all 4 feet. It has one of the 2 doors. I got a repro door for the sharp door, the thinner door, and I don't have any of the controllers. Those I can find.
Yes.
The thing it did come with that you cannot find is the remote.
Oh yeah, those
The
are not cheap.
proper remote that has the game on, game off button. It had it, and holy fuck, that part alone, the last one on eBay sold for $500. It is a shitty looking Sharp remote that you would never know, but because it has that game on, game off button, it is
That's the only difference between that and a standard Sharp remote from that.
pretty much.
era,
There's
probably.
there's just there's this plastic over that area. There's like no button in that space on a normal one, and I would say that it is the one thing that most people who have those doesn't have.
Yeah.
So I have that part. I bought just a controller, and I thought I was doing pretty good. Well, we might have to talk about that controller there, Valdor, because I need 2 of them. Anyway, so that's it. That's all there is. That's
Are
all.
you sure?
Hold on, let me make sure. Oh no, one more thing.
God.
I got this. It is a CGC graded 8.5A copy of Silent Service.
That's still not as good as the one that Cartmageddon sent you.
No, that one he's
It's signed by Cartmageddon
to the real
to
Johnny
the real
Iucci.
Johnny Iucci.
Yep. Oh yeah, I also got the Mortal Kombat comic. Robbie was kind enough to give me a copy of the Mortal Kombat comic that you could only get through mail order that's advertised in the Mortal Kombat 2 arcade game. So when that cycles through, if you have it enabled, you can see that advertisement that says, hey, mail to this address by this date and send us $3 or whatever it is, and we'll send you a copy of this comic. He got it from one of the play testers.
Yeah.
It's Mortal Kombat 1. I'm thinking of the comic from Mortal Kombat 2, my fault. But anyways, from 1. Same thing. Same concept, just on 1, not 2. So that's all I'm going to talk about. I can't talk about it anymore. I've talked about this now for forever.
Thank God.
So that's it. You want to tell the people what we're really here to talk about today?
Fuck, we've been here so long I forgot.
It's Bare Knuckle.
Oh yeah. We are here for Streets of Rage 2 for the Sega Genesis.
That is correct.
Yeah,
Highlighted right here in the middle.
it is. If you're watching us live,
Yep.
there is a copy of it next to a egregious stack of box Nintendo games. Another egregious stack of Turbo 16 box games.
No.
A Nintendo Tears of the Kingdom OLED Switch. And let's go ahead and we can put the comic up here.
Oh, hold on.
We got Silent Service graded. We got more shit coming. You're not even going to be able to see us on the set because there's so much crap here. My God.
You're in trouble with that.
I'm in. What the fuck off?
You heard me. This guy collects.
A little bit.
I kind of went off the rails past few weeks. Sorry. A lot of opportunities showed up I had to take advantage of.
I know what happened. You saw Kaylin's rooms.
No.
And you saw Johnny's little video and you're like, I'm fucking slipping.
No, I did not feel that way. Actually, I'm still contemplating whether I'm going to install a 3rd shelf, but if I get all these box games, I'm going to have no choice.
Yep.
So anyway, where'd Jay go?
Oh, I'm back here behind the Zelda.
Put your hands up.
I'm over here.
Streets of Rage 2 for the Sega Genesis.
Yes.
And this game was released on a number of different platforms, right? So Sega Genesis, the Mega Drive in Japan and in Europe, PAL regions, if you will, the Game Gear in all 3 regions, and then the Sega Master System in the EU as well. And I'm not going to really talk about it later in the collecting section, the actual, of this game, not my mania.
Yeah.
But that is a very expensive and hard to find game for for the Master System.
Really?
It's like a $600 game or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm sure because most people bought it for the Genesis.
And
right?
it's probably terrible.
Yeah. So Jay, when did this game come out?
So in North America, it came out December 20th of 1992. Came out in Japan as Bare Knuckle 2, which that's what I forgot his name already on there. I'm terrible.
The Sega fucks. The Sega collects. Kidding. The Sega shop.
The Sega Shop brought up Bare Knuckle, so it was as Bare Knuckle 2 in Japan. Came out January 14th of 1993.
Yep.
Which is kind of surprising. I mean, I get the Genesis thing, but most games normally would come out in Japan first. Primarily when we talk Nintendo.
Yeah, I would agree.
And normally in Europe, it's always the last to get it. They
Yep.
came out the exact same time as Japan.
Yes.
So January 14th, 1993.
Yep. Now, normally I'd go into a little bit of the gameplay and story here, but I'm going to kind of... Hold on one second. Okay, sorry. Had to burp and I didn't want to do it in the mic. I'm going to talk... I'm going to let you talk about... That's probably not the right way to put it. Why don't you talk about the gameplay and story? Because I wrote a little synopsis that's a summary of the manual, and I want you to read it in your best J voice.
In my best J voice.
Yeah, you got to get down there, like warm it up.
You want me to get in here like this?
Not like you're that guy from Futurama.
Okay.
Whoa. You want me to talk like this? No, I don't want you to talk like
forget about it.
Italian plumber. I guess Mario around there. Anyway,
Anyhow.
gameplay and story. Streets Rage 2. Before you start, you didn't read the first part.
Get me fucking excited.
It's
Ruin
the
it.
sequel to the
Ruin it.
1991's Streets of Rage, which was a Genesis game that was developed and published by Sega exclusively. And it is a It is a co-op side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Yes, it is.
Okay? So, Jay, the floor is yours.
This time it's personal.
No, you got to be like, this time it's personal.
Oh, you want me to go that route?
Yeah.
Okay, let me start.
Just wait till you read it. It's like pulp, buddy.
This time it's personal. Adam, Axel, and Blaze are celebrating the 1-year anniversary of defeating Mr. X and breaking the Syndicate's stronghold on the city, which has begun to thrive. They partied late, then plan to get together again next year. It's like a birthday.
Kinda.
The next day, Axel gets a call from Adam's younger brother, Eddie. They called him Skate because he gets around by rollerblading. Radical. Skate came home to find the house that he and Adam share has been ransacked, and it seems that his brother might be missing or hiding in the closet. I'm going to guess missing.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Axel and Blaze head straight to the house to find it in ruins. Windows shattered, furniture smashed. The front door was basically gone, but there was a photo attached to its splintered remains.
Now, I want to interject here.
Okay.
Eddie went to this house, right?
Yeah.
Well, how would you go? If you went to your house and you saw it was all fucked up, wouldn't you still go through the front door? Especially if it's like kind of half gone. You wouldn't go through the window.
I might just look and go, no.
Well, okay.
Maybe I'm going to call the police.
Yeah, well, he called Axel and Blaze, but yeah, okay.
Either way.
Anyway, go ahead. So my point is, they're just now finding the picture here. Tell me what the picture was of.
Yeah. The photo showed Adam in chains, lying at the feet of Mr. X. Yep, that dickhead is back again.
I thought you'd like that.
That was good. This was the start of bad news for the city. Gangs reclaim the streets and roam the parks. Bomb-toting bikers made traveling at night a deadly game. Beatings and lootings go down in the middle of the day, and no one bats an eye. This place is way more fucked up than it's ever been.
It's like the trailer park of the apocalypse.
It's like Flint.
It's like a tropical hurricane blew through there.
Tropical earthquake.
Tropical earthquake, yeah.
Axel and Blaze's old friends on the police force are gone, transferred or fired. The Syndicate has assumed control of the city, and these two former officers are on their own. Or are they?
Are they?
I sound like Keith Morrison now.
Yeah.
Or are they?
Or are they?
Oh.
So are they?
Axel's pro wrestler friend Max along with Skate, join the squad. And the 4 set off. I'm sorry. And the 4 set of them.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Hey, screw that.
And the 4 of them, that's what it should say. Get rid of the word set.
4 of them.
Hold on, read it again.
Okay. Axel's pro wrestler friend Max, along with Skate, joined the squad, and the 4 of them set out to blaze a path that leads straight to the nefarious Dr. X. It won't be easy. Punks, brawlers, even professional fighters litter the streets. They can't wait to send a message to the group hellbent on vigilante justice. And the message is, leave or die trying. Ooh.
Yeah, they don't like them.
Can this ragtag bunch of pavement warriors fight through 8 different stages and destroy Mr. X once and for all? There's only one path that will lead them there. They have to traverse the streets of rage.
2. I thought that was pretty good. Could have been better, but it was, good first run. All right. So I'll take it from here.
Okay. Yeah, I just read a lot.
You sure did. It was good. Good job.
Thanks.
Especially for not knowing what it said.
Yeah,
that was a blind read.
Idea.
That's
was
tough. You didn't have any practice, no rehearsals.
I should have read it.
You should have, but I like what you did.
Oh, okay.
It's good. So yeah, Streets of Rage 2, right? We have Bravo says Sega Shop. Thank you. Good.
Thanks.
That's for you, not me. Two of the characters from the original are back. Axel and Blaze. And now we know Adam is not because he's been now held hostage, kidnapped by Dr. X, the nefarious Dr. X. And we have 2 new characters. Max Thunder Hatchet, the slow but powerful pro wrestler.
Oh, he's a badass.
That's your guy.
Yes.
Max Thunder Hatchet. And then Eddie Skate Hunter. He's the brother of Adam from the original Streets of Rage, and he is the rollerblader of the group. Quite nimble on those rollerblades, I'd say.
Did you say nimble?
Yes. I don't know. I just wanted to enunciate, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm not going to get too far into the fighting dynamics of this game because it is a beat 'em up brawler type game. Okay. And there are a lot of moves. I was reading about it today, and I remember how we would be playing this and I'd be fighting and all of a sudden I'd hit a guy backwards.
Yeah.
I figured out how to do that.
Yeah.
And it's actually super useful when you play because there are times you're fighting somebody and someone shows up from behind and you want to hit them.
Yeah.
But man, there's a lot to this game. It is way more in depth than I ever thought. But a couple things I want to touch on are each of the 4 characters has their own blitz attack. So with Axel, who is the guy I prefer and use in general, if you double tap in a direction and then press your B button to punch or whatever it is, they do this kind of I don't even know what it says, Hachika or whatever it is, And he does this combo where it's dun 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 and almost like a dragon punch.
Yeah.
Sure you can.
Yes.
Similar. And come to find out, there was a Street Fighter 2 arcade cabinet at the offices in Sega when they developed this game. And
shit.
Yeah, and they kind of straight up ripped some stuff off, and Capcom was kind of up their butt about it.
What did you say earlier when I mentioned the thing about Collector's Quest I stole? You said we're not ripping it off.
It's an homage.
We're just spreading.
Yeah,
we're spreading it.
Promoting awareness.
We're sharing the wealth.
Promoting awareness of a specific type of.
So they didn't steal anything. They were
No.
just promoting the awareness.
They might have. And then you also have a special attack. So a special attack does extra damage, or it can attack all enemies in a single direction, but it comes at a cost of a part of your health.
Yes.
And each one of them is done differently with each player. So let's just say I can't really get into all of it because it's really in depth. Go look at the manual for this game. You can find it online, a PDF. Man, there's a lot to it.
Which is surprising because you only have the 3 buttons.
I know, but it's all these combos where you press forward in a button or you press B and C. That's how you do the back thing or whatever it is. So anyway, a little bit about the elements of the game they're in. There are power-ups. So there are weapons. There's a knife, a lead pipe, a katana, a kunai, which is a little Japanese ninja knife. It looks almost like a shuriken throwing star type thing, but it's that little knife.
Sure.
There's the regular knife and there's that little thing.
Yeah.
And then there are bombs, which generally are being thrown at you and you can pick up and throw back if you're quick.
And you have to be quick because they will blow
They
up.
will blow your ass up. Yes. And then there are health upgrades. So as you walk through the stages, there are items that you can interact with. They're at the arcade machine, which was the bare knuckle, by the way.
Yes.
Or something like that. You can smash it with your fists or, kick it. And sometimes you get the things you get out of it are either health upgrades like this, like an apple, which is a partial health upgrade, or a roast chicken, which looks like a turkey. Okay. And that's the full health upgrade. So you can be almost dead. You find one of those and then you get, all your health back. And then there are also 1-ups that you can collect like that as well. You also get points in this game. So when you smash those items up, sometimes there are cash bags, which are worth 1,000 points, and gold bars, which are worth 5,000 points.
Not to be confused with pee bags.
No, pee bags are worth way more.
Yes.
Yeah. Or piss jugs.
Actually, pee bags, I think, are only 500, aren't they?
They're usually like 50 or 20.
Oh, all right. There you go.
But that's experience. It's Zelda. It's way different and better. Anyway, so with the points, there's two reasons for getting the points. Number one, you get one-ups from them as well. So once you get 20,000 points, you get an additional player, 50,000, 100,000, and then each additional 100,000 after that. When you start this game, you start with 3 lives and 2 continues. You can go into the options and give yourself up to 5 lives. Okay. Also, there's a difficulty setting, so you can be on easy, normal, hard, or very hard are the options. I believe we just played on normal. And the game does also, from another, the other part about the score is it keeps score. So you can keep your high scores on the game and it will show them to you and you can put your name in and all that stuff, but it only keeps it until you reset it because there's no battery save or RAM or anything like that to do it. So yeah, that's a little bit about the gameplay of the game.
That was a little bit.
Yeah, there are 8 stages. We talked about that in your read. And they are of varying, like sometimes you're on a boat, sometimes you're in a bar, you're in an elevator, like that weird, like super fast going down the elevator, everybody's coming down from the top.
Oh, that was the one when you're in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you go to the pitcher's mound and the pitcher's mound drops down.
Yep, exactly.
And you go into some weird warehouse thing. So
this game, tell me a little bit about the background and development of this game. Not much, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So it's published by Sega.
Only published by Sega. It was not exclusively developed by Sega. Who developed this game?
I'm not telling because you just told me to tell you a little bit.
Oh, okay. Then I'll tell you.
No, it's okay.
Okay, good.
It was developed actually by a number of companies. So it was Sega, Ancient, Shout Design Works, MNM Software, and HIC.
So I'm going to say this. One of those is super substantial and integral here, or integral, however you want to say that. Ancient was the company founded by Ayano Koshiro and the person who did the music, Yuzo Koshiro.
Yes.
Brother and sister, and they were kind of like consultants and contributors for this game. Anayo Koshiro was like the lead graphic designer and game planner. But her brother, he did the music for this game. And I'm going to tell you what. The music for this game is fucking nuts.
Doesn't that go inside the side?
A little stereo action going there. I'm gonna let it roll for a second here. Ready? I'm going to bring it down, let it roll in the background while we talk over it, and I'll bring it back up in a minute because this is actual music that was ripped from the game. This is not like some enhanced version somebody made later on a different synth or whatever. This is the music from the game. Yeah. And I think that a lot of the times the Genesis gets a bad rap because it had bad RF output or it had jail bars on the display, from a fidelity perspective, or people didn't like the sound of the FM, like the sound chip and all that stuff, the synth and all that, whatever. This shit is amazing. So, again, our friend Mr. Yuzo Koshiro, one of the interesting things I noticed when we played this game, and when I was sitting here today getting ready for the show, was when this game is sitting at its, marquee, whatever you want, track screen or whatever, when you go to that Streets of Rage, you hit start and it says Streets of Rage 2. You choose your player, 1 player, 2 player, it's co-op like we talked about, and you can choose options. Below that it says music copyright Yuzo Koshiro. How many games of the era tell you who made the music right on the front page, man?
I'm going to say none.
Usually you had to beat the game, and then even then they would use like an alias or whatever. They didn't want people to know who the program was. It was right there, like on the front. Bam. Like, okay, everybody knows who Yuzo Koshiro is. And what I found out is he wrote his own audio programming language on an NEC PC8801. Now, are you familiar with the NEC PC8801?
No.
It's an 8088 CPU processor. That's like the infancy of Intel processors. You have the 8088,
Yeah.
286, 36, 46 Pentium,
Yes.
blah, blah, dual cores, blah. And that was the beginning of it, right? 4 megahertz. I'm going to ask you, this game came out in 1992. He wrote this on an NEC. He wrote his own audio language on an NEC PC 8801. I'm sorry. What year do you think that computer came out? Like as a personal computer people could use? This game coming out in 92, 93, developed in probably like 91, 92.
Oh. I'm going to say late 80s.
1981.
Oh, okay. I was a little off.
1981. He was using a 10-plus-year-old computer that he wrote the audio programming language for to create this. And I'm going to tell you, you were over last night, or Monday night,
Monday night.
played this game,
Yeah.
had it hooked up to the receiver after we got it to work. There's some struggles there.
And we actually ran it through the stereo headphone jack.
We did, because we got stereo.
Yes.
And what did it sound like?
Oh, it sounded awesome.
It sounded just like that.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I was like, I've played this game 1,000 times. I know what the music sounds like, and I sometimes forget how fucking good it was, how good it could be.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. I would say that this is considered one of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time, and it is. I believe it, like EGM in 1993 said, this and Streets of Rage and Streets of Rage 2, which he did both. He did the entire series, and he also did the Streets of Rage 4. He came back in 2020 to help with that, which you could certainly tell. Those two, 1 and 2, at the time, were considered the 2 best soundtracks in video game history at that point. And I'd say that this one is still up there. It's fantastic, and it's basically, they say it's like a mix of like electronica, dance, house, techno, breakbeat type stuff, some gritty house type stuff, like whatever. But it just kind of blows me away still to hear that coming out of the Genesis, and to think that this guy wrote this like basically himself, like it just, even the concept of how it sounds, he created. So
I need to get 4 again.
you got to play 4 again. It's awesome.
I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah. So
And that was a good game.
I know I just talked. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, it is. Speaking of that,
I digress.
we'll talk a little bit about the notable works that he was involved in. Streets of Rage series, like we talked about, including 4, just a few years ago. Phenomenal game. He actually got his job at Falcon, or Falcon or whoever it was. He sent a demo tape to them, and they used some of his tracks in Dragon Slayer 4, which became Legacy of the Wizard over here in the US for the NES. But that's kind of how he got the job. He's like, my demo tape. Like, how often do you send an unsolicited demo and then they listen to it and they use it?
In the great words of Marty McFly, I can't send it because what if they think it's terrible? What if they don't like it?
Well, what if it's unsolicited? I can't even touch it.
Yeah.
We're doing 2 different movies here.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, worked on Streets of Rage, did the Legacy of the Wizard / Dragon Slayer. Okay, here's a few more. The Ease series, Ease 1 and 2, and including the Red Book audio, which was the first time ever that had been done on the TurboGrafx CD version of Ease 1 and 2. The Revenge of Shinobi, and parts of all the Shinobi series. He was an arranger for Super Smash Brothers, like some of the Smash Brothers games. He's done arrangements for those. The ActRaiser series.
Oh, that's it? Nothing?
Yeah, no. Okay, you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay. Beyond Oasis, fantastic music. No surprise that he did that. Shenmue 1 and 2. Yeah, that's the guy right there. He also did the 8-bit sound for Sonic the Hedgehog, the music. Basically, he, ported the 16-bit sound for things like the Master System and Game Gear.
Yeah.
He also composed the music for the menu screen of the Sega Genesis Mini 1 and 2 recently.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, the guy's a big deal. Big deal. Anyway, Yuzo Koshiro, if you don't know him, you should. And yeah, he's a bad daddy-o. Daddy-o, that's right. Daddy-o. Yeah.
It's from Back to the
Future. Yes. I'm going to keep going here. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But I kind of wrote this
Give me some reception.
to my own wording here. I'm going to say this. Okay, so I start to do research for games like this, and I go, what was this on the cover of any magazines? It wouldn't have been on Nintendo Power, obviously, but like Sega Visions had magazines back then, Game Pro, EGM, all those. So I started looking around to see, which ones that was featured on, because this was a big game. Well, guess what? It's none. This game was not like ever featured on the cover of any of those big trade magazines at all. And I found out why. Because holy shit, what a fucking world it was in 1992 and 93 if you're Sega. If you're Sega of America, you're fucking riding high, buddy. Echo the Dolphin had come out. This game came out in December of 92, just before Christmas, like days before Christmas. Echo the Dolphin, Sega developed and published, late July 92. Sonic Tuesday was late November of 1992, weeks before this. Sonic 2, one of the best games on Genesis of all time, and one of the most anticipated games for that system ever.
Was potentially less than 30 days apart from Streets of Rage.
Definitely was less than 30. The Sega CD had come out in October, just 6 weeks prior, essentially. And in the magazine, I pulled up a GamePro magazine. It was issue 43, I believe, February 1993. It's the one that has data, right, from Star Trek.
From Star Trek.
Yeah,
Next
Star
Generation.
Trek Next Generation on the cover. And if you look at the cover of it, and I don't have it right here, so I'm sorry, but you see down here, it's like, oh, here's all this stuff. And then down here, it's like, oh, by the way, pro reviews, flashback. For this is just Genesis. Flashback, Echo the Dolphin, Out of This World, Captain America, Double Dragon 3. What they don't mention is also in that issue is Sunset Riders and what's the other? There's another one, I don't remember. But and then Streets of Rage 2 is also in there. Okay, all these things were coming out for the Genesis at the same time, and they were getting glowing reviews. They couldn't even get a cover. They couldn't even get a cover on Sega Visions. Sega Visions magazine. Okay, I forget what it's the. I think it's the February. This was really weird because they had a November, December of '92, and they didn't have a January at all. They had a February, March of '93.
No.
The cover is the Sega CD. And again, somewhere
it just
down
came
here,
out 6 weeks prior.
yeah, somewhere down here, it's like, oh, by the way, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Hyperstone heist, more Sonic 2, Flashback, Echo the Dolphin, and then over here it says, oh yeah, features Streets of Rage 2. Like, this game never got the pub, right? Like, ever.
Well, that, and look at what else is on the features. The history of Sega,
Yeah.
Sonic comic, the making of Willie Beamish, and then an interview with Mr. Big.
Yeah. Which one? The guy from I'm Gonna Get You Sucker or the band? Because either one, they both suck. Anyway,
Probably the band.
Probably. But I'm just like amazed when I go back and look at this and I think Streets Rage, you know, that's a game that obviously has stood the test of time, was definitely something that people thought was good even back in the day, and it's on the cover of nothing. Nothing. You're just getting like bylines, like features. That's it. I pulled from that issue 43 of GamePro. The GamePro, look at this. Okay, for the people that are watching, you can barely see this. They ripped off our format.
They did.
Look at that. They ripped off our LJ and game rating format. I don't know how they did this. I don't know how they stole it, but it was like 30 years prior. There's got to be some legalities there. They gave this game, by the way, people complaining about how much games are. Look at the list price of that game in 1993.
$69.95.
$69.95. Yep. So, they gave graphics a 5, sound a 5, control a 4.5, fun factor a 5. I disagree with part of that, but we'll talk about that when we get the LG and game ratings.
Okay.
So, I'm going to talk a little bit more because apparently I'm just going to talk today. You know what? No. Jay, you tell me. What do we got here?
Oh.
Quiz.
Okay.
Quiz me.
I'm going to quiz you. Really?
We'll talk a little bit about how these games are now perceived, right? The reception initially, but then also have they stood the test of the time, and how do they rank in these all-time greats and best of lists?
Well,
so hit me with it.
For Polygon's top 500 games of all time,
Yep.
where do you think it ranked?
Well, I don't know.
If you were to guess, I'll even give you a ballpark. It's going to be in the top 200.
I'd say like 190 or
Give it another try.
19er. It's 174.
Yes, it's 174.
It was 170, number 174 in the top
That's
200.
a pretty good ranking.
Yeah, top 500 games of all time in Polygon. And I will also say this, that is 3 spaces ahead of The Last of Us was 177.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think The Last of Us probably has moved up the list since then, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Hardcore Gaming's 100s.
Okay, let me say this. Let me do this one. Because, well, you don't know this is why I do these, because you don't know what that is. Hardcore Gaming 101 does the top 47,000 games of all time. They're reviewing and listing every game ever made. And they do a podcast about it, and they discuss the games, and they discuss the ranking at the end of the game and where it lands and comparatives, right? The top 47,000 games of all time, according to Hardcore Gaming 101, it's top 47,000, whatever. Number 131.
Out of 47,000 games.
It's pretty fucking good.
That is pretty good.
It's pretty fucking good.
I have a feeling they're going to rate this higher than we did.
We're going to find out.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's where we hit the valley. Okay? This is the part that I'm confused about. Game Informer's top 100 and top 200 games of all time. Top 100 came out in 2001. Top 200 came out in 2009. Jay, where did they rank? They did not rank on either of those lists.
Game Informer sucks.
We knew that in 1995, though. Okay, this is not news.
Was Game Informer who was at
Funko? That's how you got it. And now it's what you get through GameStop because they bought them and
they weren't at Midwest. It wasn't those guys, was it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Who was the guys that Robbie
That was EGM.
EGM, that's right.
Electronic Gaming Monthly.
Robbie needs to reach out to Game Informer and ask them why.
I want answers.
Yeah.
I can't agree with that. Okay, so I'm going to do the next three very quickly myself.
Yeah, go ahead.
I also, because let's be honest here. Sega stuff doesn't get the run and the pub that Nintendo stuff gets. It never does, and it never will, and it never has. This was their heyday. This was it. 92, 93, into 94, they were eating Nintendo's lunch. They were winning at the register. They were outselling during Christmas. This was the heyday of of Sega Genesis, and specifically Sega of America, I feel personally.
For $69.95, they better have been.
No shit. This was it, though. I mean, and this is like the apex to me of Sega joy, if you will.
Yeah.
I went through, because again, there aren't as many, it's not as revered. We'll start there. Other than when you talk about like Sonic or whatever. It's just not. It doesn't hold the same regard. It should, but it doesn't. Okay. I had to go and look at like people's best of lists or whatever it is, right? So like best of Genesis type game things. Moby Games, we've talked about before, is a repository where they have a feedback system where people can rate games, and they basically rank them almost like Metacritic, same thing, like that similar concept. They had this at the 14th best Genesis game of all time. I looked at that list. It was bad. I thought to myself, these are all fine games, but that's too low, I thought. And then I went and looked around, and come to find out, most other people agreed. So Complex.com did their 100 best Sega games of all time, Genesis. Number 4. And Jay, Games Radar did their 50 best Sega Genesis games of all time. Where do you think this one landed?
10.
Nope.
6.
Nope.
3.
Nope.
2.
Mm-mm.
Dare I say, number 1.
Correct! It was number 1. GamesRadar.com had this as the number 1 Sega Genesis game of all time. I can see it. Okay? Now, with all that being said, I think it's time we get somebody else's opinion. What they think. We got the Games Radar people's ideas of what they think is good. We understand I don't know what Game Informer thinks is good, but it sure ain't this. So we got to call our friends Robbie and John. And there's you, me. Sashimi has abstained. But I want to fill in a score for Sashimi because I think I know what his score will be for this one. Do you want to go first? Do you want to go second? Do you want to go third? Do you want to go fourth? Give me an order.
We're going to do... I think we go in the order that's on here.
You want John to go last?
Robbie, me, you, John.
Perfect.
Okay. And just for the sake of argument in the chat, Sega Shop said, didn't Road Rash 2 come out around the same time? It actually did. Road Rash 2 came out December 1992.
Yeah.
So Streets of Rage had some competition.
It really did. And that's kind of what I'm getting at with all this stuff is it's like there was a lot of great things going on for Sega at this point. This was before they fucked themselves up.
Yeah.
This is before Sega of Japan decided to intermingle and screw around and basically fuck over Sega of America. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
We're going to call our friend. I say we give our friend Robbie a call, which we already talked about. We already were going to do. So let's see what we got here. Ready? We're good.
Okay.
Ready?
What's up?
Do you have Mortal Kombat for Sega Genesis? Because there's only one person that would ask that question. 8-bit supremacy, Robbie Coleman, everybody. I'm bad. So do you?
I sure do.
I knew it.
Mhm.
What about Streets of Rage 2?
Oh, I definitely do.
That's no doubter, eh?
That's a no-brainer. If you own a Sega Genesis and you don't have that game, then you are fucking up.
Let me ask you this. You want to make this a very short segment? I'm
5
kidding.
out of 5.
Yeah, okay. All right. All right, everybody. This is a good talk to you, Robbie. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. So,
you should have gone through with it. That would have been awesome.
damn it. Fucked up. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. I feel like it's been a while since we've done this.
It's been too long. We're getting back on track. I'm excited. I'm feeling
Back out
refreshed.
on the horse.
I'm just feeling refreshed by it all. Like, I had to get away from it for a minute, and we did our interview things, and now we're back. So I'm feeling good.
Good. And I during that break, I ended up seeing you and Jay in person because you guys are both in the city in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah, I
know.
guess it was all at the same time. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, 2 different weeks, but Jay was in town. He stopped by the arcade with a coworker. Oh no, we did. We talked about that, didn't we? I don't remember.
Yeah. Don't
It's
worry
been
about
so
it.
long, I don't remember.
Don't worry
either.
about any of that.
Yeah, I don't fucking. It doesn't matter. But Mike stopped into town and delivered me a Flintstone Dino Peak.
And
So that was
and
pretty
some
nice.
Mediterranean food.
Oh my god, you
Sultan's
bought
Market.
so much Mediterranean food.
We didn't even talk about that.
Oh, dude. I mean, when this isn't a food podcast, but Mike was buying so much of this food for us to take home to his family. Unbeknownst to the cashier, but the guy kept giving him the side eye because he kept being like, "Yes, I'd like it for here." And the guy was like, "Okay."
I went up and I basically I didn't finish the story from earlier, but as soon as I left, I went, met with Robbie, saw Nick, brought Robbie back, and in the middle of that, I'll let you talk about what we did in the middle of that, what we considered doing. But I went back to the hotel, packed my shit up at 10:30 at night, and then drove back to Michigan. I got home at 3:30 in the morning or something like that. I was like, fuck it, we ball, let's go. I was feeling good. I drove the whole way home. I felt great. I was never tired or hungry, whatever. I just was I was jamming to I don't know, No Effects, and I don't even know what I was listening to. I was just
Streets of Rage 2 soundtrack.
Yeah, I wish, man. And now I think about it, I'd have been thumping in the car.
Yeah.
Anyway, what?
Scroll down.
Oh yeah, sorry. So anyway, I digress. So go ahead. So yeah, I should finish. I'm sorry. So we go to the Sultan's Market after we go meet with Nick, come back. We're gonna drop Robbie off and hang out at the house for a few. And I'm like, oh, let's get food. And we stop at this Mediterranean place very close to his house. Fantastic, very highly recommended. And I kept ordering food because I'm like, I know I'm driving home as soon as I leave. And I know the kids and Amy would want some of this. So I order food for myself, and then I'm like, you know what? Give me a falafel and give me an extra thing of rice and give me this, and it's all for here. And the guy I looked at Robbie, I'm like, this guy's looking at me funny. I don't know, he thinks I'm weird or something. And he's like, I don't know, I didn't notice. So then I go back up there and order more food because now I'm sure I'm leaving. I'm like, I ordered almost the exact same thing again, except for I added some cookies.
Yeah.
And then Robbie's like, yeah, that dude's totally giving you the weird, what the fuck is this guy doing thing? It was pretty funny. Anyway, so I digress.
You thought you were a disgusting pig. That's the kind of look on his face he had.
Yeah, this fat American just eating all of our food. Whatever, just buy it, you fat ass. Go ahead.
I don't know what else to say in terms of that. That's what happened. But I feel like it's been so long since we've done this. I collected some things. I've played a lot of games. I mean, I could bore you to death with that stuff. Obviously, I got the Dinosaur Peak from you, which is a very welcomed upgrade. My old car is the shittiest piece of shit in my entire NES collection. It always bothered me. I got a smoking deal on it. I bought it on eBay from some kid who got it from who knows where, and his feedback was 0, and I sniped it at like the listing for $325. This was in like, you know, at a time where it was still going for 800.
Yeah, this was like probably like 2018, 19.
2018 or something. I got a really sweet deal, and I was like, well, it's a piece of shit, but it works perfectly, so whatever, it counts, you know. So but yeah, so that one's up for sale. I'm trying to sell it locally. I got a few kind of bites, but no takers yet. I threw you a bunch of NES boxes. I don't know if you talked about that, because while you guys were doing the intro to this episode, I was playing through Streets of Rage 2 for all time's sake.
How'd it go?
Oh, it's great. I got to the end. I actually blazed through it pretty easily.
Yeah.
This time around, it's not as hard as I remember. Yeah, great game. I mean, it's always fun. So I don't know, collecting things. I can't really top Dinosaur Peak. I mean, I got a Gradius arcade board for my Play Choice 2.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Or Play Choice 2, Play Choice 10. There's 10 of those games in there. I got a Play Choice 10 arcade machine, and I got the Gradius board to swap out with my Black Box Baseball that was in there that I never played. So that's a welcomed upgrade.
I got to play the Play Choice 10.
Yeah, Mike played. I turned it on for him. He played Mike Tyson's Punch Out. He lost to Mike Tyson, and then we shut it off.
Yeah, it's very different. I'm gonna tell you, trying to play that game with a controller, like a joystick and
Instead
big
of a
buttons.
D-pad?
I think Robbie would agree that if you gave me, I don't know, what do you think? Half an hour or an hour just sitting there, I had to beat him eventually. It would just have to take practice.
You gotta acclimate, because there's more throw to the joystick before it triggers the switch.
It's different.
The movement.
Yeah, it's a different feel.
It's not as immediate like it's pressing a D-pad.
Yeah,
so
you have to adjust big time.
Yeah.
So
I got that. I got a few Switch games, a couple shmups from limited run games and stuff like that. I got a fucking game with a shmup with a horrible name. Really unfortunate. It's called Drainus.
Oh,
like anus, but it's Drainus. It's a good shmup, but I was like, why do they call it Drainius or something? Why do they call it Drainus? Like a fucking anus.
It's like Parodius, but with drains.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't played it yet, but it looks cool. And then played some video games. I ran through, oddly enough, I plucked the Space Shuttle project for the NES off my shelf and just popped it in, and it kind of was like pretty into it. I actually played through the whole thing. I was like, it was kind of cool. And
you posted like the end screen. I was like, spoiler alert.
Yeah, like no one else is going to care about that, because no one's going to try to get through the whole thing.
Nobody else has ever seen that, buddy. You're the first.
No. I tried playing through R-Type 3 on the Super Nintendo, and I was getting my ass kicked in.
Oh, that game's so hard.
It's so hard, and I'm like pretty
Super R-Type's not bad, but R-Type 3 is a fucking nuts, right?
Holy fuck, man. It's like one of those things where I started getting so frustrated. I got fatigued, so I had to turn it off because I was stuck in the last level, and I just couldn't do it. And I was like, why is it so hard? And I watched like a playthrough, and I was like, oh, some of these dudes who do this, they don't die once, so they just remain powered up the whole time.
You have to with some of those.
It's like the Gradius thing. And so it's like, if you start off with like a weak power ups, there's no chance when you're in the later levels.
The Sega shop says you sound like Elon Musk.
What? Why?
I don't know.
Like my voice?
Maybe. I think that's what he's saying.
I don't even know what that guy sounds like, because I'm so like not paying attention.
Yeah, I don't either. That's all right. It's fine. I just thought it was funny. He also says that he has 5 copies of Streets of Rage 2. Hey, man, look.
Cool. You know what? I would like one of those, because mine was acting up just now. I was like booting up 50% of the time. I don't know why.
Uh-oh. I don't know if a guy with 5 of them is going to want to sell one, though. They'd be like, hey, Mike, I know you got 4 box Zelda games. Sell me one. I'm like, no, they're all my children.
Yeah, I'll find one. I mean,
I know.
Pretty common game.
I had it at the Midwest Gaming Class. If I'd known.
Yeah, I didn't know either until I was just messing with it. I was like, why is it?
You probably threw it in a box with all of my other shit when you cleared the table up to sell everything. Move this garbage. Anyway, go ahead.
Probably.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I think that's about it.
All right.
For game-related stuff, collecting stuff. I mean, I bought another copy of Alicia Dragoon to upgrade my former copy, because my old one had that sun fade on the front and the spine, and I hate that. When you look at a shelf of Genesis games and one of them sun fade on the spine, it kills my soul.
Castlevania Bloodlines, buddy.
What kind of terrible person would sell you a game like that with the sun faded
on
the spine? Horrible person.
I don't know. I don't remember where I got it from.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Are you trying to hint at something?
No, you talked about this a while back. It was A buddy
Oh.
of yours.
My friend Frank. Yeah.
Yeah, Frank.
Yes. I thought you were talking about me. I'm like, what'd I do?
No.
No, yeah, Frank. I was just texting a second ago before you guys called me.
Caputo?
Yeah, Frank. What? Frank Caputo. Yeah,
I like Frank.
he's a good guy.
Yeah, tell
was
Frank we're
talking
talking
about
about
my
that
fucking-
shitty copy he sold you.
Yeah, he sold me a bunk
Shit was
ass
whack.
Mortal Kombat 3. It looked like a pink side. 'cause
Hope
it
you
was all
didn't.
sun-faded.
Hope you didn't pay too much for that copy of Mortal Kombat 3 because it's whack.
I know.
Anyway, go ahead.
That's it.
All
I
right.
can't think of anything else I've done or accomplished or that anybody would care about.
Well, I'll give you the good news and the bad news. The good news is you're going to get another shot, but the bad news is it's going to be in a week. But that's not 2 weeks. So
Week?
yep, we're
2
back.
weeks?
We're back on regular schedule next week. Remember we had to push a week back.
Oh,
So yep.
okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So
Cool.
very good.
Are
Anything else?
we going to talk about the actual game?
Oh, I thought you did. I thought we did at the beginning. I'm sorry.
I just said it was great.
Yeah, I didn't know what else there was to say. No, please go ahead. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm like in outer space. Please proceed. What are your thoughts on Streets of Rage 2?
I mean, I
Robbie?
just ran through it, and I have my personal Model 1 Sega Genesis. I got the Tower Power with the Sega C Model 1. And
That's what we-
32X and all that shit.
That's what we played it on. We played it on the Tower of Power, didn't we?
That's what I got, and that's what I roll on. And I have it running through stereo output sound. And man, this game sounds phenomenal going in stereo output.
I know I've got it playing in the background now.
Yeah,
And-
everybody.
Oh
I mean,
my
that's
God.
anyone always talks about that this game is Yuzo Koshiro's soundtrack. It's like the best thing ever made for the era. It really embodies. I was thinking about, like, when I was playing through this now, I was like, man, if this didn't have a soundtrack, would this game be as effective? Like, would it be like just another forgotten beat 'em up?
Would it be Final
Maybe.
Fight?
Final Fight's fucking awesome. I was actually going to talk about that's the only other heavy contender for me. Like one of my
But
favorite,
it's-
favorite beat 'em ups ever. It's like Final Fight, Streets of Rage 2. But yes, you can't sit here and like I don't know. I can't sit here and off the top of my head and think of a soundtrack or a stage theme from Final Fight.
It's one
I
of
don't
those things that you just exactly. And these songs, you know them immediately. And the funny part to me is, it's when I first played this game, you know, in the mid '90s, whenever I played it, I remember being like, "What in the hell?" Like, I thought to myself, "This does not go with this at all. This doesn't seem like, you know, this is like techno house music. It's all upbeat and thumpy."
it.
I know,
I
but
didn't
it just
question it at
didn't.
all.
It didn't fit to me up front, and now I couldn't imagine it any other way.
It to me it fit perfectly at the time, and I don't know why. Just because '92, that was growing up in Chicago area, was a lot of like house music and freestyle music. That
Right.
shit was just everywhere for
Yeah,
me,
sure.
and I was like, I liked it. And I was
Industrial
like,
music.
This is the perfect fucking blend for me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen. Yeah. So I don't know, and I feel like I kind of took that game for granted in terms of how good it was. Because I played with my friends all the time. Like, yeah, it's just a good game. But like as you go on, as the years go on, you like look back and like that game shouldn't have been that good.
No.
on this platform at this time. Like they really pushed the envelope with like the specs of the system. And
Let
stuff.
me ask you this. We got people in the chat, like Sega Shop's like, why was there no Mega CD copy of this game? I think my guess is because what are you going to do to the music? You
didn't need
can't,
it.
you didn't need
It
it.
didn't need it.
But can
It
you,
didn't need it, and it actually probably would have soured the music a little bit because it would have made it like Red Book audio,
yep.
and it would have been like, yeah, it would have been good, but it would just have been like when because they did a lot of makeovers, like the Echo the Dolphin, and they did a lot of that shit, like on the Sega CD. It's like, yeah, it's like the music's kind of better, but it just depends on your taste. If you like the chip tune FM synth on the Genesis, then that's more my shit. So I want to listen to that more. So like,
Can you
I don't know.
think of a soundtrack on the Sega Genesis that sounds better than this? Not not Sega CD. That stuff doesn't.
no, it's got to be a contender with one of the Sonic games. That's the only other thing I think that can like hold a candle to it. But still, no.
I still don't think
Like,
it's as
the
good.
answer-
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not.
Because this has a completely different feel and sound to it. And that's what I'm like, we played it and I'm just sitting there going, I can't believe this is coming out of the Genesis. Like I always am amazed by that, I guess. Yeah, Thunder Force 4 is close. And Sega Shop says Neo Geo doesn't even have a game as good as Final Fight, let alone Streets of Rage. It's true. They really have the Metal Slug games are close to those kind of like side-scrolling-y beat 'em up games, but there aren't that many. I really think.
I mean, I'm seriously. I'm sitting next to my shelf right now of Genesis games. I'm looking. I'm like, yeah, there's Adventures of Batman and Robin is a pretty fucking
Yeah.
heavy contender.
Sonic
That's
3 is good, but I mean, Michael Jackson wrote all that. I mean,
yeah.
Michael Jackson, the Yuzo Koshiro of the United States.
Well, didn't Yuzo also do Outrun? Or am I making that up?
I didn't see Outrun. I saw a number of other things like.
Oh, he did Revenge of Shinobi, which
yes.
makes that game stand out more than any other Shinobi game to me.
Yep.
Like it's like, oh, that's the one that he was on, so it's like that's the one you gravitate towards because you just want to hear those jams when you play.
Yep, I agree. I mean, we went through a whole list of the things he was featured on, and it was a murderer's row of games. Ease,
Yeah.
Shenmue 1 and 2, all the Streets of Rage 4. He did music of Street 4. I was telling Jay, he did the music for the Sega Genesis Mini 1 and 2, the menu screen.
Oh,
so
nice,
yeah, still active.
I like he's getting his fucking dues though. Everyone's like,
I think he's been getting paid for a while though.
Yeah,
at least in Japan.
Like recognition for his work, like because like you said earlier, a lot of composers and people making these games were kind of like had aliases or like they didn't really. They weren't
at the forefront. Yes. Yeah,
they weren't at the forefront, and they weren't even like acknowledged sometimes in games until like in very tiny text in the credits or something.
Yep, and like, even then, you had to decipher.
As a kid, you don't pay attention to that.
No,
it's just like whatever.
Unless it says something like Harry Fucks or something, Fred Fucks.
It's Fred Fucks.
Then you'd know. So.
But yeah, I mean, aside from Streets of Rage 2, Final Fight CD is probably the only other like neck and neck contender with beating ups that Sega ever released. I think.
It's right up there.
In terms of that guy's point, like, I mean, Final Fight CD was an adaptation of an arcade game, so it kind of needed all the memory and all that shit it could fucking muster to make a good port on the Sega CD. So that made more sense. But Streets of Rage 2 started on the Genesis, so it seemed odd. Like, I don't know. I guess it's not that active. They always beefed up and made like weird kind of sequels on the Sega CD, but I don't think it was necessary.
So let me ask this, just to confirm. 5 out of 5.
Yes, and if I could give it a 5.5, I would, or a 6.
I will put that on here in parentheses. 5.526. But that's not the real score because we established 5. Awesome.
It's definitely a desert island game. Like if I ever had to like hypothetically do some giant sell off and get rid of like my 500 fucking Genesis games, I'd be like, well, I gotta keep 20. Like that's staying in there.
Yeah,
no
if you're keeping 5, it's in that list. I'll bet.
Yeah, or 5 or 10 or whatever.
So, all right, man.
Yep, that's it. All right. Well, I hope my input was valuable asset.
As always.
Yep.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot.
Thank you. The Sultan's Market King of Chicago. And Grip King number 1. 8-bit supremacy. Robbie Coleman, everybody. I'm bad. All right. You're on, buddy.
Oh, am I?
You want to go to buy the paper? We go buy the paper.
All right, we'll go buy the paper.
The paper say J2.
So I have to give it a score?
Yeah, what do you got?
What do you think my score would be?
5.0.
That's what you think it is?
Yes.
Let me tell you what it really is.
It would be helpful.
I'm going to go with a Valdor special on this. 3.5.
I don't believe you.
Why?
3.5. All right, I'm writing it down. I'm going to write it in ink. That's what you want? 3.5?
No, I'm just kidding. The 5.0.
Oh, shit! Ah! Mom!
I knew it!
This game's great.
I'll reserve my opinion until the next LGN game rating, but proceed.
There's really nothing bad about it. I mean, the game's fun. It's constant. It isn't like there's no slowdown on it. It's not where it's like, ugh, here we go again. It's good. Like it's just a good game. So I don't know. I just like it.
Matteo just liked the stream.
Yeah.
What's up, Matteo?
Hi, Matteo.
One of the things we glossed over while we were in Chicago with Robbie, we were 45 minutes from Matteo's house. I was like, let's just drive there. Let's go surprise him. Like, hey, what's up? Surprise, it's Mike and Rob. Well, good thing we didn't because he was in Vegas.
You could have went and surprised Kaylin.
Yeah, that's thanks for bringing that up.
Wow.
I should have done that too.
Yeah, you should have.
Since I actually have his address. Wait, was something going on? No. I suck. Thank you for doing that.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
I'm happy.
Sorry,
that you
Kaylin.
could do that
When you're listening later, we love you.
Kaylin, next time I come to Chicago, I'll come
You're
up to visit
muted
you.
for me. Okay. Is anybody else having sound
No.
issue? Because it sounds like everything's cool here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything looks good on this end. So I don't know if anybody else is having fidelity issues, but it seems like it's okay and nothing has changed. So let me know. Peeps. The people out there, and it was just me, says Retro. I knew it.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. So this game is great. You never get tired of it. What else you got?
It's fun. It's fun. Like it's a hard game, but it's not over the top difficult. If you really put the effort into it, you can get through it. I mean, we played it.
Yep.
We went through the whole game.
Well, we weren't gonna, because we're like, let's play for 20 minutes, and then we finished it.
Yeah, we ended up finishing the game. We're like, well, because we couldn't remember how many levels it was.
Yeah, I was like, I think it's 6 or 8, and then we got past 6, it didn't end. I'm like, that wasn't Mr. X.
Well, we started talking about it by level 4, and we're like, well, if it's 6, we might as well just keep going.
Yeah.
And then we got through 6, and it kept going, and we're like,
That ain't no
guess
Mr.
it's
X.
8.
That ain't no nefarious Mr. X. I'm gonna grab a drink. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you.
But no, it's a fun game. It's easy to control. It's easy to play. It's easy to get into. It's not something where you got to sit there. Say somebody was to pick a Sega control up for the first time ever. They have to sit there for an hour and figure it out. It's 10 minutes, and it's like, okay, we got this. So I don't think there's anything really bad you can say about it. It's a 5 out of 5. What is that? Oh, root beer.
It's not as carbonated. That stuff just gets me.
Okay.
So
So yeah, 5 out of 5 for me.
Let me write this down here. 5. Now, would you go higher if you could? If you could go, could you Robbie it and go 5.5 to 6?
I'd go 6 if we could go 6.
Wow, put that in the.
We're gonna break the rules. We can put 6.
No, I don't think we can do that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it
Well, what the fuck did you ask for?
because Robbie did it, and I didn't want him to be the only one. I didn't want him to be isolated and feel alone.
All right.
5.0.
All right, 5.0.
That's it.
Put it in the books.
All right.
Your turn.
This is 5.0. I mean, Robbie said a lot of what I want to say. I will say you also said what I kind of wanted to say, which was this game is tough but fair.
Mm-hmm.
It never feels unfair. It never feels too difficult to continue. It never feels repetitive, right? Like you have different areas, different enemies. They're, you might fight the same enemy or type of enemy a number of times, but it never feels like super repetitive.
No.
Like it's a good mix. So
Yeah, they definitely mix up the characters because you only have, what do you have total?
I mean, there's a number of different guys. You get the punk
You got
guy,
like 5 or 6.
you get the ball
6
guy.
total.
There's more than that because you got the fighter guys, you got the bosses, you've got
Minus the bosses.
the bike
just your
guys,
standards.
you've got the ninja guys, the girls with the whips. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's more than you probably think if you think about it. There's probably a good 12.
The
14.
fat guy.
Oh yeah, the big fat guys.
Blows
which
fire.
They're named after some Japanese thing. I read about a bunch of the names, and I also found out. Remember what it says like I am Boo or whatever? That's a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Yes.
To Boo.
Yeah,
right?
Majin Buu.
Yeah. So anyway, but there's a lot
all
of
the
that
Boos.
embedded stuff in there. So, but yes, this is a 5.0, and to Robbie's point as well. If you own a Sega Genesis and you do not have this game, you are doing yourself a huge disservice because again, Sega its star did not burn as bright as long as Nintendo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think they had some games of middling quality, all platforms do, but it's a game like this that you just go, what are you doing if you're not getting this game and playing it? I like these styles of games in general. This would be one of my favorites of this style of game. It's just a fantastically easy, replayable, great soundtrack. I look forward to hearing the sound. It has great sound effects, right? Like when the guys are yelling, they do their moves, or when you get hit or whatever it is. Like it's got good, just everything about it is good. I enjoy the fidelity, what it looks like. It's got excellent graphics. You know, it never slows down. That's something I thought you mentioned that was interesting, that
Yep.
you never have that, like, there's too much stuff going on this 16-bit machine that you can't keep up. You never have that problem with it. It's just, it's as close to a perfect Genesis game as I feel like there probably is. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
And I would say that if you asked me, again, if you wanted to whittle it down to 5 of your favorite Genesis games of all time, this would be one of them for me. So, yeah, I'm going to
I would
also...
even be pressed to say this would be a top 5 side, like a side-scrolling fighter.
Yeah.
Shooter.
Whatever. I know what you meant.
But
It's definitely up there. So, cheers to Streets of Rage 2.
well, we got one more to do.
We sure do.
You got to set that one up.
Let's call our good friend John Young. And let's see what he has to say. Let's find him here. I'm going to fake ring him. You know, got to call him. So. And see if it works, because this never works.
Ahoy, hoy.
Oh.
Oh.
Hello?
Somebody messed up. You're on the wrong one.
Ahoy, hoy.
Oh.
Hold on. Let's try that one more time. So let's give our... Hold on. Let's
Ahoy?
give... Hold on. 1 second.
Just said ahoy.
Ahoy.
Like with so much confusion.
I got burps tonight, man. Yeah, you get free burps for the Patreon. Hold on.
Nice. I want to hear him live. Wow, ahoy.
Okay, sorry for the viewing audience. That was not... I had to burp and it was rough. Okay, so let's try that
The
again.
rolling pins start rolling you out or something.
Hold on.
Jesus.
Now, hold on. We're going to pretend to call John again. Ready? We should just leave you on the whole time and then just pretend to call you later. So why don't we give our friend, Mr. John Young, retro game enthusiast, a call? You ready?
Yes.
Why did I press the button so soon? Man, we're out of practice. You threw me off by laughing.
You're over here, man.
Hold on. Answer the question again. I don't have to say it again. I'll cut it.
Ahoy.
No, not you. Hold on. I have to mute that line real quick. Jay. It's derailing. I can feel it. Nope, it's
I'm
good.
trying not to.
No, you shouldn't try. Embrace it. Ready?
Can you mute him?
I just did.
Thank you.
Ready? So, Jay, why don't we give our friend, Mr. John Young, retro game enthusiast, a call? What do you think?
That sounds like a great idea. Let's do it.
All right. Ring. 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 I hope he picks up.
Hello.
You suck. Oh my God. How did you hit the wrong button? It's the pink button.
Because it was
Hold
there
on.
earlier.
Hold on.
The Cheetahman himself.
About the Streets of Rage, this whole thing.
The Streets of Rage in Kansas City. With barbecue sauce and ribs flying everywhere. Mr. Famicom Box himself, because that's what Tyler tells me to call him. Retro game enthusiast John Young, everybody.
Hey, smooth intro, guys. I'm surprised with such a time off, you're able to like crack right into it. So
Amazing, isn't it?
Listen,
That's
we-
No,
pro.
that's
That's
great.
pro work.
we are
right
the
there.
proverbial professionals. So you don't have to worry about us. No rust. Straight to the point. Pro every time.
I don't know what that word means. Preverbial? Is that like before the verb?
It's pro. It's for the verb. Proverbial.
It's in the new Zelda, John. You'll figure it out when you play the game.
Oh, nice.
It's part of the fusing technology.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Fusing technology. It's like breakers, but like you get to, like, you just put a penny in there, right?
Yes,
That's
it's
the same.
proverbial.
Yeah. See?
Okay, nice. I like it. Language, it's what makes us work.
John, how you been?
Pretty good, man. Busy. Picking up a lot of stuff. Almost had to pick up a new air conditioner today, but I think we're in the clear. Just a little compressor issue. So
Oh, that's good.
that was exactly. That's a Flintstones 2. In my backyard that I would have had to drop.
Yeah, you'd probably rather just have the Flintstones, I imagine.
Well, hey, if you need money quick, I can hook you up with a boxed copy you could sell.
See, that's exactly what I was trying to talk to Kasha about. I'm like, look, you grew up in Europe. You didn't have air conditioning.
They didn't even have that there.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like, we don't need it, do we? And then she hit me, and,
I was actually going to ask if she hit you.
Man.
I would hit you, too.
Yeah, well,
It's probably a little warmer down there than it is up here, too.
In Kansas City?
Yeah.
Sorry, and this is a way callback, and I mentioned it in the chat, but I don't know if you guys saw it. One thing I really enjoy with my wife is going over like the different like theme songs for cartoons, because she had a lot of the same cartoons we did, and in Polish it's Kłaczki. Whoa.
Doesn't seem to roll off the tongue as quick as or as smooth as
I'm probably
DuckTales.
doing it wrong.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, there we go.
It seems like the Walmart equivalent. Yeah, we got DuckTales. It's right over there.
The Sam's Choice.
This don't look like DuckTales.
Well, and you know what the funny thing is that it's like one dude that translates all the like characters in Polish, because they don't necessarily get her, and her dad would watch like Married with Children, and then like she'd watch cartoons, and there'd be like one dude doing the voices for all the different ducks.
And some guy that smoked a lot of cigars and
Married with Children.
You mean Goose Stories?
Yeah, Goose Stories.
And it's some guy that smoked a lot of cigars and
Yeah,
had a
I'm
pencil
Huey.
stash.
Yes, I am Dewey. Yes, that is me, Louie. That I believe. The Louie part I believe.
Fun fact: Huey sounds like the Polish word for men's genitalia. Huey. Anyway.
Huey?
Yeah, Huey. So, anyway, we're off topic. But it is.
No, that's the topic.
It's really hard not to laugh at the person that you love when she's like enthusiastically like remembering her childhood stories and like singing like a song that you're very familiar with, but in a like Polish, language.
It's DuckTales. You'll enjoy. Woo!
Yeah.
Doot, 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 Uncle Scrooge.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole
Oh,
song.
John. Got anything new lately?
No. Good question. Honestly, I really haven't been able to pick up too much. I did get, Tears of the Kingdom Switch bundle, like our friend Mike. I don't even know why, but it was an opportunity.
You know
And so I
why.
grabbed it.
So are you
You're
taking
smart.
Friday off as well?
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty excited about it. So yeah, taking Friday off. I'm thinking about streaming it on Twitch, not necessarily because I feel like I'm going to become this big influencer and the next, big Twitch streamer.
The next Matteo?
But yeah, exactly. I'm not going to be Matteo. It's honestly just so that I can kind of have that like schoolyard interaction with my friends. So if anybody wants to come in and just chat with me in the stream, I don't know how much I'm going to do it, but I got a capture card. So
Is it an
I'll just do
Elgato?
that. What's that?
Is it an Elgato?
Of course it is. Yeah. That's my old capture card, but I got one that was considered pretty good for the Switch.
I
Did
think
you get
what
the
I'll
El
do-
Guapo?
What's that? El Guapo?
Yeah, the El Guapo.
Yeah, it's the El Guapo.
Would
I
you
think-
say it's a plethora?
Yeah, plethora. Yeah.
I'd say that's a plethora.
This is a
Yeah.
plethora. I would say that maybe I'll do the same thing, but I'll just sit here and play it on the portable Switch, like facing the camera like this, like, ooh, oh wow, I didn't even know that they had that in this. And then like
Nobody
all you
wants to
see is
the game. They just want to
Yeah.
see you react.
they
to
just see me reacting like from this far away, and the Switch is like that big.
Just a
They can't see
reaction
this-
video.
Just the back of the Switch.
it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is good DuckTales. It's better than regular
like a green
DuckTales.
screen so that you can be like, now you're underwater.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah,
Just like
exactly.
cycling through the Microsoft Paint
We're in-
backgrounds that they give you.
I'm in Delaware.
You could
Delaware.
you could get the Panasonic back out and live stream it like we did with Richard.
Oh yeah, sure could.
Or
Maybe I
Rich. Richard.
Rich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe I will. That'd be smart.
There you go.
That'd be funny.
Okay.
That was a good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, Jay, you're supposed to keep us on track.
Yeah,
I'm
Jay,
sorry, John. So,
God.
John, did you get a chance to play Streets of Rage 2 for the Sega Genesis?
I did, and a full disclosure, I thought we were doing a different game up until like a day and a half ago. But
You have the schedule?
yeah, well, all right. Do I know when the schedule's updated?
I tell you guys.
Anyway, that's fine. Anyway, no, it's all on me. And so, but that being said, I had plenty of free time, so I busted out the Mega SG, the analog Mega SG.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Brag much?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean that's the cheap, like whatever analog system. But what's great about it is that it does essentially hook up to an HDMI TV, and
It's the
this
budget
game-
Rolls Royce. It's not
Yeah,
the
well-
it's not the S the S model.
You know what? It's the Honda Civic of hardware emulation. In that it's not too expensive, it's reliable, and it's better than let's say whatever, a Mini Cooper.
You go.
So, but no, man, I was listening to it on my TV, and then I remembered essentially my TV had Bluetooth headphone capabilities, and so man, I put on the Bluetooth headphones for this soundtrack, and oh my god, that's the experience. Because I don't think in the '90s, I don't know if I really played this with any of the sound, and if I did, it was maybe through like an RF type
Oh, yeah.
situation. So
It was through your TV.
yeah, so it's through my shitty TV from the '90s, and through not necessarily the best audio option. So even when I heard the music, it was mono through bad audio. And man, just you going through all the list of the games this guy's done. You guys had mentioned like what Sega Genesis games have this kind of quality of music. I would take it a step further. Like outside of like Koji Kondo, like who else as a composer is this good?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
No
the
one.
dude from
Final Fantasy.
Dragon Quest.
Bah.
I mean, like, but he was like a classical composer before he did the game. So,
Bah.
and
I would agree.
I was like, I mean, this is the kind of thing where like I feel like I could, with a lot of people that I respect, like from either like famousness or music world, I feel like I'd be okay talking with him, be a little nervous, whatever. But like this guy and Koji Kondo, I don't know how I'd react if I had to like meet these guys, because you want to kind of convey that they were almost the soundtrack of your youth, and to that point, not to give away my score too much, but like 91 to 96, it's really hard for me not to have nostalgia for that like 5-year period, because it is kind of so much my formative years. But also like the games and music that came out from like 91 to 96 is like, some of the best games / music of our generation.
It's when it's hard because you get wrapped up in nostalgia and you get wrapped up in, like you said, those seminal moments of your life and the most formative years of your life when it comes to how you developed your taste for things or whatever it is. So when I talk to people about, like some of the greatest years in music, 1977 is in there. Okay. I would say probably 1968 is probably in there, depending on, somewhere in the,
You're a Revolver guy.
but that's 67, but yeah, I mean,
Okay. my bad.
it just depends on what you think. But I would say, I always have to be careful because I think if you go look at the albums that were released in 1994, I mean, I would put the year 1994
yeah.
against anything. Like just look at what came out that year, and it's an amazing year for music. So, but I get what you're getting at with that, where you're like, okay, like I'm trying not to make too big of a deal of this, but it's a big deal, right? So,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm a little over the place. If we think about the games that we've already discussed for the Nintendo, like the Double Dragon game, 3, I think is the only one we've done. Everything that game did that I loved, this game does better, right?
Yes.
Like the additional move sets, the music, the additional levels, the
No
rebalancing of the complexity.
Yep. There's no slowdown.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is one. I don't think you can turn off the friendly.
No,
you can punch your friends. Okay,
you cannot, because we fell victim to that a number of times. And the sad part is, you will just walk up to each other and he'll grab them, and they're like, "You can't let him go." I'm like, "Okay, how do I get out of this? You can't."
We spooned a number of times on the elevator.
Yeah, we sure did. The big wrestler guy was the big spoon.
Yeah.
Now, outside of the game, did that help with your ability to not punch each other when you're spooning?
You wind up having to pile drive them.
Yeah.
Right. So in the game or outside the game?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, got it. No, okay, all right. No, I understand. So yeah, I mean, the level design for me is maybe a little not that great, but honestly, it's not horrible. I mean, it doesn't take away from the experience by any means. That's the only real critiques I can make is maybe it'd be nice to have an option not to punch each other, and maybe the levels could be a little more interesting. I honestly would say Turtles 3 maybe has better cool dynamic level design.
Yeah.
But that's being nitpicky. I could play this with a friend for hours on end. What I wanted from Double Dragon 1 is what this delivered.
That's true. That's a good point. Yep, that's very valid.
John, with that said, if you had to rank this game... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead then.
Sorry, just a little more. Final Fights. What I was... I never really figured out is how Final Fight and the Streets of Rage, so many of the characters look similarly. There has to be something to do with either just borrowed art style or just the same artist, or I don't know, this is a general punker dude.
But they're just not. It's weird. I agree. I mean, what I think happened is exactly what happened where the Sega and the ancient people that did the design were busy playing Street Fighter 2, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna put this style of martial arts in there, or we're gonna put this thing that looks kind of like a dragon punch in there, or we're gonna have a guy that looks like Balrog or whatever." I don't know, whatever. But I think it was that thing where they both kind of those were the tropes of the time. So yes, those punk guys look exactly the same. I'm sure one of them saw them, thought, "Okay, we'll just put those guys in our game too." You know what I mean? I don't think there was any overlap in who developed the games, because I could be wrong, and maybe someday I'll find out. But I agree, there's a lot of similarity. But I just think it was either influence or promoting awareness.
Or a better way of putting it is it's the license to ill effect, right? Where it's somebody's just a fan of the world, and they're like, "No, I want to borrow the Aerosmith, guitar riff. I want to borrow the, whatever." And it's not so much a ripoff. It's just this is what the world is, and this is this is the best that we can make this without worrying about oh, we stole this from somebody. But no, it's endlessly fun. It's just as fun today as it was 30 years ago. I would say that there's a level of even playing through an HDMI hardware emulation, the lag didn't really bother me. It was still totally easy to play and get through.
Right.
I didn't beat the game like Robbie, but I also had other things to do.
When you say lag, you mean with the display, not the actual game itself, is what you're...
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is when you're going through HDMI, there is still kind of that little bit of a lag.
Right, that's what I mean, yes.
Yeah. Yep. So whereas Mike Tyson's Punch Out, you just can't do it.
No, absolutely, you could not get away with it. You'll die at Soda Popinski. Trust me, I know.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, well, you died on a regular TV with him. That's different.
But, and now I feel bad because I was telling Jay to keep me on track, and then when he tried to keep me on track, I completely steamrolled him. So
that's good.
So John,
yes,
if you were going to rate this game from a score of 1 to 5 in 0.5 increments, what do you think you would do?
This is a very high 5. Legitimately, everybody should play this game. I've had friends say beat 'em ups aren't just my thing, and I'm like, you got to play this game. Between the music, whatever. And sorry, I do want to add this one more point. In the 90s, and Michael and Jay, both of you remember this, you weren't allowed to listen to punk music, grunge / alternative music, and hip hop, and nobody was allowed to listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Well, they still can't. But what you're saying is you were a fan of one or the other. There wasn't a lot of crossover between the two.
And you were judged if you did crossover. Maybe not in all groups, but definitely like in the South Bend, like South Side area, where it was like, no, you can't listen to this and this. That being said, I had a lot of hip hop friends that loved Streets of Rage 2. I had alternative friends that lived it. People that hated any sort of like that style of music, that techno-y, dance music. Still love the soundtrack for this because it was a video game. It's like no, this isn't the same. So,
it transcends genre. It transcends preference.
And in a way that you weren't allowed to, at least in my youth, through other genres. And this is a point that I made inside of a text string we're on, but I would say here too, I can't think of a movie that had a soundtrack this good in the 90s.
Maybe Pulp Fiction, I don't know.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction, I mean, like, legitimately, we're adding in like all the great, 90s movies. I would say this is still like up there with, any great movie soundtrack.
One of the things I forgot to mention during my review, and I'll bring up now because I think you may be a little too young for this particular song, but with the intro or the splash start screen, whatever you want to call it for this game, the music for that literally sounds like a ripoff of Enigma's Sadness Part 1. So if you're familiar with that song, which maybe you are, sounds like you are. That
I thought you were going to go Dead or Alive.
No. God, thank God, no. That song sounds, that intro music, I think, was pretty much straight lifted from that song, because that song was very popular at that time. I think that song came out like 90, or it might have been 89 to 91 or whatever it was. It was out long enough where it could have been a huge influence, and that guy would have been into it and heard it, and maybe subconsciously or consciously completely like plagiarized or was promoting awareness of it, because it really does sound exactly like that song. So anyway,
I mean, if you've heard the songs that Koji Kondo like borrowed things from Super Mario Brothers and stuff, like, I totally hear exactly where he got the influence. Or even Super Mario World, I mean, you could see influence from songs of the time. But what's great is that they were fans of that music and they were able to recreate them in 8 and 16-bit, homages.
Sorry, Jay muted us there for a second.
Classic Jay. No, 5.0. Gets them every time. I really, everybody should play this game. If you hate beat 'em ups, this should be the one you should play. And if you don't like this, you won't like anything. There's no kangaroos, but
I mean, you can't have it all.
No,
it can be a high 5.0 and not have kangaroos. It's okay. It's not in Australia. It's in Japan or something. Or the city. They never say what city. They just say a city that is run amok with thugs and criminals.
I love the background, by the way. Like, one in the baseball area, it's like, do baseball. I just love that, like, little, let's do baseball.
Let's do baseball. Why not? Do baseball.
Do the baseball. So what else you got for us, John?
So I'm officially coming to VGS, Video Game Summit in Chicago. I think it's July 8th. So
he's bringing me something too.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring a couple things actually. 5 days before Mike's birthday.
Yeah, it's true.
Wouldn't that be 5 days before your birthday as well?
It sure would.
Oh.
Yeah, and
you gotta go with us.
That's 30 days after Robbie's birthday, I want to say.
Is this June 13th?
No, June 8th.
Oh, you're talking about the thing. You're talking about the show.
7th. Sorry, I can't remember Robbie's birthday. He's gonna yell at me for this.
That's all right.
It's the only thing he cares about when we talk about it is like, hey, you remember my birthday, right?
Don't forget. It's June 11th. And you're like,
exactly.
Yeah, I can't remember. I was drunk. Anyway, go ahead.
No, that's it. Great game. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I wish I would have played it a little more than the Breath of the Wild I was playing. I didn't get all my shrines done like Mike did, but I am going through the master mode, which definitely gets easier later game. Even the Lionels aren't so bad. The trial, man, that's a pain through master mode.
Have you the sword trials? Oh my God. Yeah. You know how dumb I am? You want to hear how stupid I am? I went through the basic, I went through the middle, and then I get to the final sword trial. This is how you upgrade the master sword in the game, right? To be able to utilize it to its fullest extent. Well, Jay doesn't. He's looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay.
So you have to traverse through all these things. You start with nothing. They start you over, and you go in the beginning one. I think you have to do 11 trials. You have to go through 11 stages and not die. You have no armor, you have no weapons, and everything you collect, you get to keep as you go from 1 to 2 to 11, right? And it gets progressively more difficult. And there are a couple of like oases that you can go to where you get extra stuff and you can cook things and whatever. But in general, you're basically on your own with almost nothing than what you collect as you go. Mm-hmm. The last one, there are 23 stages you must get through. Now, John's doing it on Master Mode, which is a harder version of what I've done. But I got to stage 17 of it. Stage 17 is a Lionel. And Lionels are the biggest pains in the asses in the game to beat. They're very difficult. They're very tough to fight. They are very aggressive. And if you have no armor or very, very little armor, you're going to get wrecked. Except I completely forgot until about the 12th time that I did it, that one of the things you do get before you get to stage 17 are what's called ancient arrows. And ancient arrows send the Lionels off into like some other world. We don't even know where they go. They just disappear. So you show up, he's looking at you, and you just shoot him, and he's gone, and the level's over. And I'm like, it took me 17 fucking tries to remember this like an idiot. Because usually you fight them because you want their stuff. But in this case, you just want them gone because you got to get to the next level without dying, and that's very difficult in the position that you're in. So I just was like, I went to bed mad when I'm like, I can't, this fucking stupid game. I'm like conserving everything, trying to cook it perfectly, getting these defensive things, and just still getting wrecked. And then I'm like, wait a minute. And I did it, and I was like, first of all, I had to do the first 16 stages again to get to him. And then I get to him, and I just shoot his ass. I'm like, motherfucker.
The number one rule for Breath of the Wild is the same one for marriage, Mike. Never go to bed mad.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a good one. Go ahead, Jay.
You know what I miss?
What?
I miss shit like Link to the Past, where you don't have to fight Lionel Richie. You just go get your sword.
You don't have to. You don't have to fight Lionel Richie. You have the sword already. This is about upgrading the sword if you want to. You don't have to do this. It's all optional.
Yeah, you don't have to do that bullshit in the game.
You don't have
Link
to.
to the Past, you don't.
You don't
get
have
the
to.
sword.
But you can't just walk into the sword and get it.
And there's no Lionel Richie in the game.
But to get the sword,
I like some Lionel Richie.
It's fine. I like Nicole Richie.
Oh.
In order to get the Master Sword,
Benji.
Yeah, that's right. In order to get the Master Sword in Link to the Past, there are some prerequisites you must fulfill. The only prerequisite you must fulfill to get the Master Sword in Breath of the Wild is, I believe, you must have 13 heart containers in order to pull it. That's it.
But then you got to go through all kinds of bullshit to make it better.
You don't have to.
You got to listen to Lionel Richie.
I beat the game 5 times with never doing it, and listening to Lionel
Does
Richie,
he do
you said it's not that bad.
Hello.
Is
it me you're looking for,
is
John?
it the Lionel that you're looking for? Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And just in Mike and Mai's defense, Lionels are in the first Zelda, and they were too hard for Link to the Past.
They shoot those electric swords.
Yeah.
Electric swords. They're assholes.
Oh, electric swords. Is that dance music from the 90s?
No, it's
some Zick Zick Zix.
It's the name of I think it's the name of a Black Sabbath record. Anyway, Go ahead.
So with that said, thanks for all joining our Zelda Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom episode.
The precursor.
Sean, do you have anything else?
No, I'll try to think. I'm sure I bought something, but I'll essentially bring it up for our next week.
Well, you're bringing me something.
All right, John.
Yeah,
well, I'm changing some things up in the heart of the game today.
Okay.
The Kansas City Streets of Rage need their hero back. Thanks for coming on, John, but you got to get back to Kansas City. Save the day. Retro game enthusiast, John Young, everybody.
You guys can't see, but I'm dancing like Matty over here.
Saving that barbecue sauce. Kansas City Streets of Rage style. Mr. Famicom Box himself, because Tyler Drake's be telling that. Call him that.
Another smooth transition.
Ugh.
Why don't you fade us out? See you, John.
Bye, John.
See you.
These have been the worst intros and outros of all time.
Hey, that was a good one.
Well, yeah, except for the talking part.
Well, words are hard.
All right. So Sashimi Z did not submit a review. There's a number of reasons. It's no big deal. No hard feelings. Just busy. We're all busy. So
he sent me a review.
Yeah.
He just texted me while we were on the show.
Yeah, I did. What did he say?
Well, the first thing he told me is I'm a dickhead.
Well, okay.
Big surprise.
No, you're fucked in the head. That's
he just said I was a dickhead.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Well,
He said we're idiots because we talk about Trailer Park Boys all the time.
Yeah, but
Because he said they're so stupid.
yeah,
Another reason I don't like him.
yeah.
But he texted me and he said, just put it down for a 5.0. You guys are seriously that stupid that you wouldn't think I'd give it a 5.0.
That's kind of, I didn't get anything from him, but that was kind of the tone I had already assumed. Like I was like, he already thinks for morons. So if we put anything other than 5.0, he's going to really.
He did. He said
Dig in.
5.0.
All right.
And then he told us to get good and pick a real game.
This is a real game. Look, it's right there.
Yeah.
All right, Jay, give me the list of where you can play this back then and today, because it's a hearty list.
It's a hardy list. I haven't even looked at it yet. Let's see what the list is.
Robusto.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sega Genesis.
Oh, it's real.
Yeah, Sega Genesis.
Yeah,
Game
yeah.
Gear.
Yeah.
The Master System, which
Yeah.
I'd really love to see that.
Oh, okay.
The Dreamcast on the Sega Smash Pack.
Yeah.
Xbox 360 Live Arcade. And of course, a lot of Sega collections.
Yeah,
You
there were
got
a
the
lot of them.
360, the Xbox One, the PS3, the PS4, the Nintendo Virtual Console, iOS, PlayStation Network, and Steam. And for the Nintendo 3DS, you get 3D Streets of Rage 2.
Which is a weird, like 3D kind of rendered version of the game. I didn't play it, but I just kind of read about
Yeah,
it, and I was like, sounds weird. And then finally, the most accessible one for most normal people nowadays would be
Nintendo Switch Online and the Genesis collection.
that is correct.
That almost make it worth paying that extra. What is an extra $15 or
I don't
something?
know. I don't need to do it because I have them.
Well, yeah, that's true. I don't. So, I mean, I could.
That you should then. I would if I were you.
I might have to.
Get you
I
on,
let it lapse
get you on
before
the
they
family,
did the Genesis one.
get you on the family plan. I think I might have a space. I'll have to look. I can't
Oh, do
remember
you?
doing
Well, if you do, hook brother up.
it. Yeah, you got me. I got you. Okay.
What
Let's do a
about some
little
collecting?
Let's do a little collecting, okay? There are two versions of this game for the Genesis. We're going to stick to just the Genesis here. There's the retail version, which is the version, if you're looking at right now, in the middle of the screen.
Yes.
And then there is the not for resale version that says not for resale very boldly right across the front with I believe it's a white and red sticker, right?
Is that the pack-in? Was that the pack-in one?
So
for
that's
the...
what I was going to get at is at some point, I believe, I'm trying to carbon date this myself. The Genesis Model 2 came out in 1994. And I believe in looking at like variations of console boxes, this was a pack-in very late in the Model 1's lifespan. So I would say this game came out late 92, early 93. My guess is sometime in the fall, probably, of that year, maybe summer, fall. This game was a pack-in in what was called the Fighters, what was it? The Fighters something, I forget what it's called. Like Fighters Machine or Fighters Console or Fighters Edition or whatever.
I think it was a fighter's console.
It was, it's that stupid word I can't think of. I can't think of the word. Anyway, but there was a Model 1 console, black grid box, Sega Genesis 1 that packed in the Fighters Edition of this is what it was called or whatever. And to me, when I look at it, like the Altered Beast box is always like the one everybody's like, oh, that's the great one. It's the first one. It might be my favorite box. Go look it up. I'll find the right name here so people can actually look it up by the real name. I have it in my eBay search because I was just looking for it. So I'll go pull it up here. Yeah. The Sega Genesis Fighting System is what it was called.
There you go.
I should have known. I should have just known. But yeah, look it up. Cool box. I don't think it's that hard to find. I don't think it's some super rare, hard to find variant. But yes, the not for resale version of the game originates from that pack-in of that console. And from what I can tell, there's really no cost difference between the two. Okay, there's again, we're talking about Sega versus Nintendo. If this was like an NFR or some other game, like if it was Zelda and it was pack-in and it was NFR, people would be like, I have to have it because it's the NFR of Zelda, like me. I would do that with that voice even. I would be like, actually. But yes, no difference in price. Loose, this game is $15 to $20, depending, where you find it. You can find it maybe for $12 or $15 on eBay, plus shipping or whatever. Complete in box, $50 to $60. Now, different levels of completeness and condition sensitive and all that good stuff. I could not find any information on sealed games, and I don't believe the NFR version of this game was ever sealed. I think it was in the pack-in in the game, like in the box. It was already open. Now, a little bit about the graded market for this game. Sealed, according to the WADA population report, There are 8 sealed copies of this game in existence, with the highest grade being a 9.8. That's the standard retail version. I didn't see any of the NFRs that are sealed. Again, I don't think they exist. Now, this is what I thought was interesting. There are 7 copies of this CIB that have been graded. And you know I love me some CIB graded Genesis games.
I know you do.
So there's 6 of them are the retail version. One of them is the NFR version. So that one NFR, we'll talk about what it sold for recently, or not that recently, but somewhat recently on Heritage Auctions. But let's get to that right now. Graded sales of the game. We talked about the 9.8 A plus. That sold last January for $21,600. Now, this is a highly desirable. If you're a Sega fan, this is a highly desirable game, and that is the one in the best condition. That seems like, and this is going to be weird to say, that seems almost like a value to me. $21,000 for the best version of this game. It just, collectability wise, it has its own cachet, but it's not a Nintendo property, and I think that's why. If this was a Nintendo game, it would be 10 times that. A VGA 85 plus, which equates to, like, VGA does its own grading. I got one right up here if you're looking. Okay, they got an 80 plus Breath of the Wild. Have you ever heard of it?
Never heard of it.
For Wii U. But they do their own grading. They've been doing it longer than WADA. But what happens is people have kind of determined what the crossover grades are. So a VGA 85 plus would live in the WADA 9.2A to 9.6A plus range. So still really, really nice and good. That sold just last month, or a couple weeks ago, actually, 3 weeks ago, April 20th, $9,000 it sold for on Heritage Auctions. That might have been part of the classic series, where a number of expensive games were auctioned off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No comment. And then the CIB one we talked about, that not for resale version was sold March of 2021 for $168, a 7.5. If I was seeing that and I'd have been on that night, I would have grabbed that shit in a heartbeat. Oh man, I got to find who owns that and buy it off. I'd probably go $250, $300 for that. I might. I don't know if I could find one of my own. It's probably a 7.5 anyway, so maybe I just do that. All right.
So you just find another one, send it in, they have graded.
Yep. Yeah. That's the collecting. Like I said, not a lot of versions or variants. Just, a couple, and there's not a lot of sales around graded games, so not a ton, but yeah. And it's a very accessible game. The one thing I like about it is one of the best games for this platform. And if you wanted to just go get it to play it, you could get it for probably $15 or $20.
Yep.
Just a loose copy. Don't collect loose Genesis games.
No.
But if you're going to buy one, this is one to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so tell me a little bit about speedrunning of this game.
The old speedrunning. Here we go. So, speedrunning, pretty simple. There was 212 runners, and there was 1,131 runs.
Which is, I think, a fair amount.
Yeah. Not pretty, it's
yeah,
a little above average, I'd say.
I'd say it is. What I will also say is, essentially what I've done here is put the fastest, basically all the runs are based on the character you use.
Yes.
So every character has its own speed run and record, and then there's also one for 2 players. So that's it. Yeah, go ahead.
So run type, of course, you did per character. So I'll name the character, and then we'll go over who ran and what the time was. So for run type, for the first one is max. We'll go max. And that was Bradio 2. And Bradio 2 did it in 23 minutes, 24 seconds, 60 milliseconds.
And he broke a record from, it might have been King Iopa or Pikachu. I can't remember who it was. But he broke a record that had been set a year ago, 3 months prior to him setting this record.
Yeah.
That record was 23 minutes, 24 seconds, and 120 milliseconds. He beat it by 600 milliseconds.
That's crazy.
Do you think there was some controversy there?
Maybe.
I didn't dig into it, but I feel like there might have been.
Probably was.
Yeah. Anyway, so that actually, and I will say this too before I let you finish. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. That is the fastest that this game can be beat.
Yes.
Or has been beat. I should not have fast, but Max seems to be the character. If you want to beat the game,
surprisingly with Max.
Yeah, he's the slowest. But you have to also remember this game moves kind of at its own pace. And the faster you get rid of people, the faster you can move at that pace, right?
Yeah.
The only time that you're influencing the speed of the game is when you're beating the things up, because other than that, you move, right?
Yeah.
With the game doesn't move for you, but it's a very linear path you go on. So go ahead.
So then we got Axel. I'm going to actually rattle both these off. Axel and Blaze were both done by King Iopa.
Mm-hmm.
And Axel was 25 minutes and 43 seconds. Blaze was 26 minutes and 12 seconds.
Considerably slower, 10% and more slower.
Yeah. And then we've got Skate was done by E.T. Goham.
Yep.
26 minutes and 40 seconds. And then we've got the fastest two-player run. We don't know who the characters were.
Yeah, I didn't put it down here, but
Was done by Outside Lutz and Pikachu.
yeah.
And that was at 23 minutes and 48 seconds.
Still slower than Max Solo.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing to me. I imagine they probably used Max. I'm going to guess they used Max and
Max
Axel.
and Axel,
It was my
probably.
guess, I would assume. But yeah, unless there's some reason they would have used somebody else. But yes. So
all runs, of course, per the typical, speedrun.com, other than our Mega Man one we did.
that's correct.
Yeah. You forgot about that, didn't you?
Mega Man 2.
Yeah, Mega Man 2, because we got
Yeah.
it from Mega Man.
The Mega Man Speedrun Archives, whatever the hell
Yes.
it was. Yeah, because they don't keep track of it on. Not all things are harbored in Speedrun. It's just the general.
Should be.
It's where I start when I do research. So I think that's a show. We did it.
Wrap it up.
I think that we've. I tried to make sure that we did not do this game a disservice in discussion because, again, Final Thoughts is a fantastic game. I think to John's point, anybody should play this game and try it. Even if you hate the genre, this is one of the games that you should at least try. And if you hate this one, you'll never like any of them, just like you said. It has pretty much everything. I think it has, especially at the time. It still has a classic look because it's sprite-based. The graphics are excellent. The sound is excellent. The gameplay is excellent. I have no qualms with this game whatsoever, other than I want to say I wish it was longer, but I don't, because you can get through it in obviously 23 or 24 minutes if you're a speedrunner, but a realistic 40, 45 minutes if you wanted, 40, to an hour, whatever it is. You can sit down and play this game, be done with it, and have a good time, and I really enjoy it. So,
And all things considered, too, the Streets of Rage franchise honestly is fun.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
we talked about it. We hit on it a minute earlier that even Streets of Rage 4 is a great game.
1 is good, 2 is S tier, 3 is fine, good, 4 is comparable to 2.
Yes.
I would say 4 was my favorite game that came out in 2020 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I loved that game.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, high replay value, just like this one.
Yeah.
So, Jay, when's our next show?
Next week.
What?
Yeah. I know.
Wait a minute.
Next week will get us back on our regular
That's correct,
calendar
yes. We'll be back
of our
too.
bi-weekly. So, yes, we will be back next week. We are going to continue on our 8 p.m. Eastern
I like it.
launch time. I do too, because it's not.
This show kind of ran longer than even normal, and it's only 10:30 here right now.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So, which is nice for us because normally we're dead in the water, but it's
Yes,
a 2.5 hour point.
correct. So May 17th, what game we
Yes.
doing?
Oh, I didn't look at the calendar.
May 17th, what game we doing?
We are doing. Oh shit! We are doing Yar's Revenge
Correct.
for the Atari 2600.
2600.
2600.
Yar's Revenge.
Yes.
Yar's Revenge on the 2600.
Yes. Are we going to be able to play the updated version that's on Atari
Yeah,
50?
we'll do both.
Oh, I like that.
We'll play both.
That's fun.
Oh man! Once I remembered how to bomb that dickhead.
Yeah.
Oh, it was money all day. I
Yeah, I can't wait.
whoop
That's
that
gonna be
game.
a good game.
That's a fun one. All right, let's spoiler alert. All right, so where can the people listening to us now find us, Jay?
Well, we've got a link tree, and it is linkter.ee.
yeah. Would you say that the linkter part of that URL is about 35% of it, maybe 3.5 out of 10% out of 10 of percent of the.
I would say 3.5 is probably a good average there. That's
Yeah.
a good solid.
Okay.
I think our link tree is a good solid 3.5.
Yeah.
I think we should actually change our link tree to 3.5.
Yeah, you think?
No, we won't.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. But we do have a link tree. It's linkter.ee/lost joystick. Then we have social media.
We do.
So Instagram and Twitter is Lost Joystick. Facebook and Twitch, Lost Joystick Network.
You know who agrees with all that? Is the Aldor. He's
I'm
on.
sure
He's
he
on board.
does.
So I'm going to say this. I'm handing over the reins to the social media because I am inept and I just don't do it and I suck and I either do it really well or I don't do it at all, which is the story of my life. So I'm handing it over to you, Jay. I'm entrusting you going forward with things like Instagram and all that crap.
We're fucked.
Yeah,
All right.
it's fine, but better than doing nothing.
I'll give it a solid
Well,
3.5.
Yeah, exactly. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5 effort every time.
Yes.
So anyway, expect to see more above average quality of content.
Maybe content. I don't know about photos. You do some pretty good pictures.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll take the pictures and you write them.
Okay. That
Okay.
works.
Cool. And then what else we got?
Oh, we got our email.
All right.
It is info@lostjoysticknetwork.com.
Ooh,
What are you doing there?
nothing.
Okay. So I think that wraps us up.
I think you're right. I'd like to say thank you for joining me tonight.
I'm here every night.
And thank you for being my friend.
Thank you for being my friend. This is the douchiest ending we've ever had.
I was going for that.
Okay, good.
Because I love you.
Stop it.
I like you too. That's what you're supposed to say.
Okay.
So anyway, go out there. Have fun. Be safe. And be excellent to each other. I was going for the old Tenacious D.
Yeah.
I love you.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Say I love you, man. Just want to say it. Well, that's nice. That's nice that you can say that. Do you have something to say to me? No.
No.
Well, I like you too.
I like you too.
Anyway, thank you for everybody for jumping on tonight. Appreciate it. This episode will be edited and posted, and very likely prior to Wednesday's episode next week.
Oh.
Yeah, because Jay's gonna help me.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the other two episodes are going to get kind of lost in the ether outside of being available on YouTube. I think we're just going to kind of let those float
At some
away.
point, they may wind up going up as bonus material. You can consume them through YouTube. I just have not had time to edit them. I'm not usually gone for an entire week and then have another. After that, there was another crazy week along with it. So it's just been one thing after another. So I have to plan for that next time. And maybe next time we just plan accordingly for next year's sales kickoff, assuming I'm at it. So anyway, but all that being
I know
said,
the Lionels are in Link to the Past as well.
it's true there.
Aren't they in Death Mountain in all of them?
I don't know about Breath of the Wild. I mean, there's probably one there.
Well, yeah,
They're just kind of spread out in Breath of the Wild. They're kind of everywhere and they piss you off. They just show up and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, hey, come get it, bitch. I don't care. I see a Lionel. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to fuck this thing up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yes, thank you all for joining us. I'm going to be at VGS and we'll talk about it more in the next couple of months.
I might be.
I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to get this guy to come. There's some there's some contributing factors we have to try to mitigate.
Yeah,
but
I got a
we
couple
will-
things I'm trying to work out, see if I can make it.
Yeah, hopefully we can pull it off, and it'd be cool to get the crew back together again because we're going to take over, man. I'm telling you. Kalen, Green Shell, myself, John, Robbie, we're going to have like a whole section of the show. It'll be ours. So I'm kind of like looking forward to just like the takeover. It'd be cool.
You know, there's one thing I wanted to talk about on this game that I forgot to.
Well,
Not trying to change the subject.
no,
but
you're good,
If you
go.
noticed, if you look on the back,
Yeah.
this dude's head is the Don't Walk sign.
I always thought that was so funny. I meant to bring that up too. Like, why is he wearing a CRT? Like, seriously, it's a don't walk sign, like a traffic
Yeah, it's
light.
just the corner. It's
Yeah,
just,
and it's
it
like,
happened.
why did they do that?
Oh,
It looks almost intentional. I don't think that
I think it was.
It looks like he's wearing it as a headpiece.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Yeah, if you got a copy of Streets of Rage 2 at home, flip it over, look at the back, and look at the don't walk head guy. I don't even know what else to call him.
You gotta get one of those fighting sets. The fighting console.
Oh yeah, the fighting system.
I looked at there's 3 on eBay right now. 2 of them look kind of
Yeah.
trashy. The third one didn't look bad.
But it was the one that was like $199. It had rips in the front. I didn't want it because it had paper loss on the front of it. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I'll find one. But that's the one I want. I don't really like Lust
Oh,
After.
yeah.
Yeah, see what I mean? That was
Yeah.
the one I was looking at originally, and I was like, eh.
See, the other one, the dude has the Toys R Us receipt with it.
Yeah, but it's trashed, isn't it?
Oh yeah, like everything outside of the box is super nice.
Yeah, I'm
all the paperwork, the actual console is really nice.
It's funny because that one
controllers.
people seem to have a lot of the paperwork that goes with it. Like it came with that Batman Returns poster
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So yeah, it is nice. Other than I wish the box was nicer because
Yeah, box
of
is
them,
trash.
of all of them, I think that's the box I like the best. I just think it's the best. It's like this hybrid of like it's a harbinger of things to come. It's like, hey, this is the black grid stuff, but in the back, bubbling underneath is this red. Because like if you look at that Genesis over there, right on the floor, right next to that Atari,
Yeah, it's all red.
they went with that red theme, and all the games were before. All the games had different spines or whatever, and then they went with that very consistent red theme, and then they put out boxes, and there's no consistency to
Yeah, other
anything
than
stuff.
the couple rips on the front of that one's
I
actually
know.
really nice.
If it was-
and he's
if
got
it-
the cardboard and everything.
If it didn't have those, I would have already made them an offer because there's a best offer on that one, I think.
Yeah,
So yeah, I just can't do it. I'll wait, and you know what? If it doesn't come up, I'll find one someday.
Oh, I didn't get to all the pictures. He's got duct tape all over the bottom of the box.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I know. It's not great. And he's asking too much. The last one sold at like $129. Go look at the last one that sold. I guess there was no console in it, maybe, but it was not that expensive. I think he's asking too much. But whatever, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
All right. We wrapping up? Are we
yep.
gonna say la vie to our friends who are here? Valdor, I know you're out there. We love you, buddy. You should come to VGS. Come to McCook. I'm sure Chefish will be there. That's where I first met him.
I never did hit Chefish up when I was in Chicago.
I gotta find that 32X. It's not here. I told you it wasn't here.
It's not?
I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. You know where I think it is? Probably in my storage.
Oh,
I gotta send him some sexy pics
some sexy pics.
of the 32X. Everybody, settle down. Anyway,
Yeah, this one didn't have a console.
yeah, but that box was nice. I would have bought for that price of just the box.
Yeah, that box is super nice.
Yeah, I would have bought that for sure. But oh well. All right, so I don't think I'm gonna take all this home, but I'm definitely taking a couple of these things home.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, until next week, thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you on social media.